And the snows fall and the white winds blow. The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody out there in YouTube land? This is Wolfpack Wednesdays. This is Hump Day. This is a packed show. We have a lot to talk about, so we're just gonna get into it. We got EvilSneakerr as our special guest down in that lower right-hand corner. Everybody, welcome Sneakerr in to
What's
what
up,
is this,
everybody?
Welcome.
Is it third time now? Yeah, I think third time.
I think so. I think that's a first for any of our guests. So, congratulations on that.
It's because I'm too sweet, baby.
Big Brader. We're going to mention this guy in a little bit here. No, I like it that you're using the too sweet, and it's really good to have you here. Your cases are evolving before our eyes, and I see a lot of figures in there. Are you finally to where you want to be, where you can rest? Is this the 7th day for you?
No, not yet. I have I think 10 more things to open probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm getting there.
But you keep buying more stuff, so then...
Well, so pre-orders are coming in. I'm trying not to buy things. Pre-orders are coming in. And yep. So I'm just,
Keep plugging away. That's all we can do, right?
I'll probably be done by this weekend. I'll have everything open by this weekend for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it's good to have you. Thank you for accepting the invite.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on.
DLO, the man who's missing the hurricane. How are you doing? Sitting on a big roll of toilet paper down there?
I just taking care of all the damages. So I picked up all my patio furniture that fell over, and we're doing okay. We're doing okay. We made it, folks. We made it. Everybody was so worried about me here because it's like, oh my gosh, DLO, the hurricane, what's going to happen? You're like, are you going to be able to make the show? And I'm like, we'll find out. We'll see. And then it was actually nothing happened. So we're good. We're good. We're ready to rock and roll if on Wolfpack Wednesday. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Brick literally asked DLO today how he's doing. How's it going down there? And he sends a picture of his patio table and 4 chairs, and 1 chair is tipped over. And he's like, oh no, type of thing.
I wrote, never forget.
Yeah, never forget. But all jokes aside, glad that it's missing. I think majority, right? So everybody's staying safe down there. So any of you viewers down there too, hopefully you guys are staying safe. Brick, I know you had a long night. You're doing your due diligence to help others. Well, what else is going on with you?
Always, man. I'm pumped. Let's go. I'm excited to talk about some figures. Not really sure what the topics are. I didn't do my homework, but kind of in for the surprise.
When do you ever do your homework? Brick is like, what homework?
But I still ace it, man. Still aces it.
Well, good. Study. All right. So before we check in with the chat here, I do have to do just a small bit of housekeeping, which I wasn't prepared for because I had to close everything out, and now I'm trying to get back in. So just bear with me for 1 second while I get to this.
All right.
Make that 2.
I thought I didn't do my homework.
I had it up.
That's what they all say.
Our fearless leader. Unreal.
All right. So really quickly, I just want to give a plug to myself here. So EvilSneakerr has been on my back for months to get this thing done.
Oh, months.
Weeks.
Years even.
And
years. We should have done this years ago.
Even before we knew each other, he was like sending me like premonitions, like trying to get this ball rolling. He was manifesting it.
You don't know me, but
yep.
I know you. So something new that I did put a video up yesterday, I think it was. I did open up the channel to memberships. Obviously, I appreciate each and every one of you for just watching. But if any of you are urged to support the channel even a step further, this is where you can help the channel, and all the money again goes to figures, equipment, making sure that the quality is getting better and better, and making sure that I'm entertaining you guys. So trying to give back as much as I can for those that want to become members. So if you're interested, it's $3.99 USD. We have member badges, and you can kind of see those evolving over the months, and it's kind of a cool thing. We have you start with like the empty logo of the Jedi Knights Watch, and then it kind of evolves to the full logo, and then after that you can even get logos that I haven't used, that I just kind of created, so custom logos. And we do have emojis, which I'm seeing a little bit here in the chat. So we have the Too Sweet emoji, we have a character of myself, we have the Jedi Knights Watch, and the Wolfpack logo. As more people join, we can do more emojis and have more fun with that. You'll get priority shout outs in videos, so I'll be shouting you guys out in all my videos, and you also get priority reply to comments. And we're also going to be doing members only giveaways, and we're going to start that hopefully by the end of September, and we're going to be giving away the N-Sabers lightsaber that I reviewed. So that's going to be the giveaway item. It's actually a really good lightsaber. If you haven't seen the video, go check that out really quick after this video. And yeah, if you are so inclined, would love to have you guys as part of members of the Jedi Knights Watch. Join the Watch. That's what it's going to be called, is the Watch. So enough about that. Everything else will stay the same. You'll still be getting the normal free content, but hopefully as a channel, we can continue to get better and better. So that's where we are right now. Thank you all for being here and listening to that. Let's check in with those people in the comments. And this is going to take a little bit of getting used to for me, because I hope that you guys can see this on your end. But we got William Cody in the house, and he's given the Too Sweet emoji. What is going on? He is a channel member. Thank you so much, William, for signing up, and looking forward to having you here. We got Action in the Box, another channel member. Hello, community.
Better in the YouTube.
It's better in the YouTube world, which hopefully they're all seeing here.
Did I just see poop shape?
I didn't know. I just saw eggplant, and I just saw like
so I'm gonna have to figure that out,
all
because
that there.
people are giving the emojis, but even in YouTube, they're not really popping up. I see it in the chat.
I do see it in chat too. So
I see
your
it in
money is
chat
not
as
going
well.
to waste, folks.
It's not going to waste, but
it's definitely working.
Come on, YouTube.
StreamYard needs to figure it out.
Yeah, they got to figure this out. Well, even YouTube though, it's not popping up here. But
really?
Whatever.
So Daniel,
What's up, Daniel?
What's up, bro?
Good old Spotchka in the house. Giving that Too Sweet sign as well. Here's one for you. We got Jazzy. What's going on, boys? Thank you for being here. We got EvilSneakerr, of course. DLO must be fashionably late. He's actually early.
I was
We're
early
waiting
today,
for this guy
actually.
right here, a little brick. But he's here, and we're ready to go.
little brick. That's bad. I don't like
Universal key. Let's see. Has Brick received the box? What's in the box, man? What's in the box?
See the box.
He's got the box.
I have not looked
Do
yet.
it now.
It's out of the
What's
box.
in the box?
No, we'll wait.
No.
We'll wait.
We'll wait.
wait.
Okay. Daniel in the
That
house.
way we know
Hello?
Spotchka sticks around for a while.
Sure. What's up, Luis? How you doing? Thank you for being here. We got Josh in the house. Go Pack Go. We're
There we
getting
go.
closer to football season. Next week, guys, I was going to tell you, but I'll just tell you right now. We all got to wear jerseys for next week,
Hell
because
yeah.
it's the
Done
eve
deal.
of the football season. So
Done deal.
let's do it. Football.
So we are not
season.
inviting this guy because he's a Patriots
Tom Brady
fan.
jersey, just spoiler alert, if
Yeah,
you bring me
we're
back on, it's going to be a Tom Brady jersey 100%. And a Patriots, the GOAT.
Wow.
Man.
That's why they call him the GOAT.
We got Cage in the house, another channel member
bro?
of the Jedi Knights Watch.
What is up?
Mike Literis, good friend of the channel. What is going on?
Mike.
Thank you for being
What's up,
here.
Mikey?
Chris Santos, always have Chris here each and every week, and I do appreciate it. Let's see, we got Collector Chris. What's going on? Gandalf. We will be talking about
Yes.
that. We got some conversations about Inart and Gandalf, and we'll see what we think. Jedi 291, hello Wolfpack from Saskatoon. I'm gonna pretend I know where that is. Good old Spotchka doing the cheers.
Sounds like it's from Star Wars.
We got Cylon in the house. What is going on? And I think we are caught up. All right. What do we want to talk about, guys? Do we want to talk about announcements, releases first? I think so.
Yeah, that seems like the right place to start.
Well, why don't we just start, get into it right off the bat. And Boba Fett was released last night, early this morning. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot this thing wasn't out already. With all the Boba Fett releases, I thought we were done, but then I forgot they did a book of Boba Fett. So, guys, were you surprised? Were you waiting for this one? Anybody getting it? Jump in. Let's just actually start with DLO. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, I'm going to go
care?
on. Do I care? I do care, but I mean, like everybody else who's probably wondering about this figure, if they're going to pick it up or not, I'm asking if I need another one. Because here's the dilemma. I like this suit the most out of all the new designs for Boba. Between Bird Poop Yoda and repainted Boba.
Sure.
Now this one, I really like this one a lot. I just think it's like the perfect mesh between the old and the new on him there. So, but it's tough though, because I mean, not Spotchka, I'm sorry. EvilSneakerr and I were talking about a little bit about, like, you know, he has a throne one, right? I recently got the throne one as well too, and I really, really like that. So I'm questioning myself, do I really need a third Boba? Part of me says yes, I want to, but the other part of me is like, should I give up that like very precious space in my collection for a third of the same figure? So I really like it a lot, but honestly, I'm kind of on the fence on this one here. I love how it looks. The only thing I wish it came with was an updated head sculpt for Tamir Morrison after he had the back to tank or whatever like that, and he was able to heal his face up a little bit like they did with the quarter scale. I think that's the only thing this figure is missing, and I think if it had that, it'd probably push me over the edge, and I'd probably pick this up. But for now, I'm going to hold and wait to see. Oh my gosh. Between original trilogy and this now,
Yeah,
I have 5 right now.
that's enough.
I think so.
More than enough.
But I kind of still want this one.
Like, that's enough, you know. But I will admit too, like, seeing this, the green looks really sharp, and then that belt with that rich brown color and that rich looking leather, that looks really good too. And then, you know, obviously the black robe, so it does look really good. And I also have the bird poop Boba, and that one looks really good. You get a lot of detail, a lot of good stuff in the armor there, but this just has a different look to it. So Sneaker, I know you're a huge Star Wars fan. Are you impressed with this? Is this something you're going to consider picking up? And how many Boba Fetts do you have?
Yeah, so I have Arena Boba, Empire Strikes Back, Boba on Throne, that's 3, and then Animated Fett, and then that's 4. I think that might be it.
I'm beating you.
I think I have 4. I'm trying to think if I have one more.
Rookie numbers.
But like, I also want, like, I want that 2-pack, you know, I want like the, you know, the damage, and then I want like the Tusken Raider style one, you know, with him in that outfit. So, but like, I just having that many Boba Fetts is just unjustifiable to me. But this figure looks really good. Like this, I would agree with like kind of what Dilo was saying as far as like the one that's definitive for the new version. I would say this is the one. I can't decide whether or not I like this like brighter color green though versus like the darker on the repaint. Like my mind goes to like the darker, but that looks really good. That almost makes it look darker when it's in like a darker scene in this photo. But yeah, it looks really, really good. It's going to be really hard for me to justify picking this one up just because I have Boba on the throne. But Dilo, you made a really good point about them not including a head sculpt. I almost feel like that's kind of a miss. Like, why not include the head sculpt? You have it with Boba on throne. Why not just clean it up and make it exactly like they did with the quarter scale? That one, honestly, I could see that potentially pushing me over and wanting me to get this, because then you could do a helmeted version on the throne and then like a sculpted version without the helmet on with this one.
It may seem like it's such a small detail, but that's like a huge deal for me here, just because you know, I know the head sculpt exists. They gave it to us with the quarter scale version of this one here. So for me, it's just like, why skimp out and why not give us that head sculpt? I mean, if you have it, you can shrink it down to 1/6 and it's fine, no big deal. But the fact that they didn't offer that there makes me wonder if, you know, as Hot Toys thinking down the road, they may want to reuse that head sculpt later on for another version of Boba Fett or something like that. I
hope not.
So you never know. This new Filoni Star Wars here, I mean, he can pop up maybe as early as next episode of, you know, Ahsoka. I'm probably not going to happen, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe they have something down the road that they're thinking about releasing. But if this came with the head sculpt, it probably would have been a yes for me.
Yeah, I didn't even
Despite how
think
many I
about
have.
that. I didn't even think about that, but maybe again that's why it's almost like maybe that's why they didn't do it, because they want the one with the head sculpt to sell.
Right.
Like it's
That's
you know what
I
I
was
mean?
thinking.
Like maybe
Try
they
to force
didn't do
them to
that
buy
because
both.
they want you to have a, but for me, the more accurate representation is Boba on the throne with the helmet on. You know, right now I have the helmet off because his head sculpt looks so good, but for me, like I'd rather like I'm gonna probably honestly, like now that I've had it out and I'm setting my stuff up, I'm probably gonna put the helmet back on.
Sure.
And now they have Fennec set up, like it looks more accurate to the scene. So I'm probably gonna put the helmet back on. Like this would be a great one to have the helmet off. Also, it just looks really, really good. Like I know there's some like Cad Bane photos too that look really cool. But yeah, it's really hard to justify this one. And this is a really interesting one. I know Spotchka mentioned in the comments, like he can see this one going really cheap. This thing has been waitlisted forever. So it'll be really interesting to see how this one evolves in the aftermarket, because it's been waitlisted for a really long time, but there are so many Bobas out there. So I'm kind of intrigued as to what's going to happen with the market. Honestly, if this drops lower though, like to where it really is just so oversaturated, where this one kind of drops down to where the other ones are, I'll probably consider picking this one up. But for right now, I'm not going to be getting it right now or anytime soon.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about waitlists again in this show, but a little bit different of a take on it with Sideshow. So we're going to get into that conversation in a little bit here. So save those ideas that you have, Sneaker, for this figure being waitlisted. And
Can I mention one more thing too?
Yeah.
They did like just enough to make you want this figure versus the throne. Like on the belt, they put the little bullets in there, right? Like they put the cartridges instead of like
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah. On the throne, like they have the brown pouches on both sides, and then also the one on the throne, they have kind of like the draping of his pants in the front. So like they made just these subtle changes and made this one more like an action oriented one. Which I really appreciate that, but still I just like they do that and like it's intriguing, makes me want it, but I just can't do it right now. It's a cool figure though. Like it would be cool to have in the collection at some point, but just such a hard one to justify right now.
Before Brick goes, really quickly, would you guys choose this over Bird Poop Boba?
100%.
See, I have a soft spot for that one, so I can't even say that. I really like that one. As much as people give that one crap, no pun intended, like it's a really solid value. And on top of that, you know, I bought that full retail and it goes for so cheap these days. It just feels like, you know, even if you weren't 1,000% love that there, the fact that you get the robed up Boba Fett and that one, you can probably find it for maybe
for the price of this. You could find that 2-pack for the price of this, brand new right now. So I would go for the 2-pack, 100%.
I would too. I mean, I just think, I was completely overmade. I mean, don't get me wrong when they did it, but at the same time, I mean, I like it because you know how I feel, guys. Like I like to do bookends here. So I like to start with the beginning of a character and the end of a character, if I will. So, you know, having him in his robes and his first armor since coming back, for me, that's special enough to warrant to be in my collection here. So whenever the character finally gets, I don't know, retired or something like that, and they make that final figure, I've got that there. You know what I mean? So, but that's just the way I think about it. I think it holds value on its own.
Yeah.
Well,
I really like. Sorry, go ahead, Graham.
I was just gonna say, I think you have to take into consideration what Bird Poop Boba means when he came into Mandalorian season 2, and the weight that the moment carries as well. Where
that scene of him in the armor when he pops up is just badass.
And then this represents.
He still hasn't had a scene. He still hasn't had a scene yet in his other versions of armors that trumps his first appearance on Mandalorian season 2 there. Like it's still the best Boba's ever looked in live action.
We got 50 in the house. Don't forget to drop a like button, subscribe to all my friends on the panel here because they're all really good dudes. If they weren't, we wouldn't be doing this show each and every week together. So, Brick, we finally get to you. What are your thoughts on this Boba Fett? Now, you're getting into Star Wars.
Right.
I want to know what you think about this figure, but I want to know which Boba Fett you would go for first. And I know that's asking a lot because there's a ton out there, but which one would you gravitate towards if you're picking a Boba Fett? And do you like this one? What are your thoughts?
If I were to get a Boba Fett right now, which I don't have one yet, I think I would choose Return of the Jedi. You know, the classy look. And I'd probably only want one, maybe two Boba Fetts. And if I were to get a second one, it would be this one. I don't really, for Boba Fett, I don't really need the other head sculpt. I don't need to show that off. I want this look, and I think this armor, this outfit looks better than anything they've come out with personally lately for this new series or new version of Boba Fett. I do love the scene as you guys were talking about with the bird poop Boba Fett. It's a great scene, but that pushed to the side a little bit. I think this will look way better in my display. It will kind of pop. I mean, these colors are magnificent. I mean, it's far superior than, in my opinion, than the other one. But again, how many Boba Fetts are they going to make? How many do we need out there to choose from to begin with? I think there should be 3, maybe 4 altogether. But that's my opinion. And but yeah, I would choose probably Return of the Jedi or this one.
I gotta say, I think I like everything about this Boba Fett better than that one, outside of just the armor itself being like scratched up and chipped and whatnot. Like, I like the pants better here, where the other one he has like the baggy, more like the Tusken Raider pants. I love the belt here better, where it's got like the actual belt buckle. And I think I like the color of the green better here, where it's a little darker, deeper, richer. And I think it almost makes the figure look a little slimmer as well compared to that one, with the way that the pants are. They're not as baggy, and maybe the way that the suit's tailored, he just doesn't, and it could just be the photo too, but he doesn't look as wide, I guess, as the bird poop version. So I think I'd still pick that one, but I think aesthetically, I think I almost like this one better. And you still do have some of that weathering going on in the armor. You got the scratch going down the helmet, some paint chips there too. So it's a little bit different than the repaint, where that was a fresh repaint. This one, he's kind of wearing it for a little bit as well. So
I like this one because this one kind of reminds me more of the original Boba Fett, the way the paint is, the paint scheme and everything. So I love that look, and it's scratched up like you were saying. It's it's got that battle damage, so to speak, that a lot of people like. So it's really cool.
What about Empire Fett?
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I got the Empire.
That's my favorite.
Empire's my favorite too.
I mean, Return of the Jedi comes with both, right? It's the Empire plus the Return of the Jedi parts. You can swap them.
No, it's
Right?
I know the Empire one. I think the Empire one comes with an alternate look.
it's an alternate.
Return of the
That's
Jedi comes with the
I
Sarlacc
don't know for-
base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have the Return of the Jedi one. I do have the Empire one though. I love that figure. That to me is like the iconic Boba Fett look. Like, it'd be hard for me to give up the original trilogy Boba Fett for any other one.
I agree. Well, yeah. If we're just comparing it to all of them, I agree that I'm gonna always stick with my OT Boba Fett, no matter what.
You know what I did with my Boba Fett, my Empire Strikes Back one? I gave the deluxe, the DX Luke his base. I put it on Boba, and it looks incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The best.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It takes it up such another level, dude. It's really nice.
Do you have DLO? Do you have the 40th Empire, or do you have the like original release one, like the 40th anniversary?
I have the original release one there. So
do you remember what base it comes with?
Yeah, it comes with that graded base there. But it has
orange. Is it orange?
It's orange, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the 40th base is the same. I was gonna say I like that base. That's one of the bases. Like, I'm kind of picky about bases, but I still like that 40th Boba one. That has like, you can see the kind of the orange underneath of it. I think that's a cool look. But that Luke, that's a good idea.
Bases with Star Wars, they were doing pretty solid work with the bases in the beginning, and they kind of just tailed off, and they just really leaned into that sand base for some weird reason. And just like,
doesn't this one come with a sand base?
Ooh, good question.
I'm almost positive this one comes with a sand base.
It has to, right? I mean,
I'm almost positive it does.
He's on Tatooine. It's got to be sand, everybody.
Oh yeah, looks awesome.
Badass.
I'm curious. Now hold on. Now before we go,
that's photoshopped. This is a photoshopped Rancor. You can tell. Look at his legs. Look at his legs. You can 100% tell it's a Photoshop.
Is this a tease?
I don't know.
This is a Photoshop picture. 100%. He's not sitting on that.
Dude, I do like this the more I look at it.
This looks badass.
Shame on me because I kind of scoffed at it
there you go.
backstage, but
that's the look there. You know what I mean? You take your throne, and there you go. You sit this Boba Fett on there. But this is the point I was making. Like, this is why there needs to be a head sculpt option. Because I mean, a lot of the show, that's the biggest thing too. Like, in a lot of show, he didn't have his helmet on for like 90% of the show.
Yeah.
So it's just like, why not give us a head sculpt for this? It's such a weird omission.
I need a
For-
Fennec.
Yeah, it is weird that you don't have that option. 100%.
Yeah, you do need
Fennec
a
is Fennec is a great figure, man. I just opened her. What was that last
Dude.
night?
So good.
Oh,
Really
real light.
good.
Some natural light photos.
shit.
See, I
Yeah,
like
this is
stuff
cool.
like this.
Wow.
See, these kind of photos are types of ones that, like, if you look at it quickly, you think it's an actual still from the show.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
shows
they
off
do,
that
yeah.
chrome Mando.
I like how it
Mhm.
comes with the gaffy stick too. That's really cool.
Gaff is
Yeah.
a nice touch. Very nice touch there.
I don't know if they're going to show us
Look
anything with a
but look
base.
at the jetpack. Look at the paint on the jetpack there. The other one is
Mm.
solid green. This one has a lot more of the more OG aesthetic to it there.
Yeah, the
Oh,
classic.
guys, I can't get a third
Holster-
Boba Fett, but this is something I really wouldn't mind having
I mean,
because
this
it's
is
kind of
like-
like a mix between traditional and then the new. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look at that's the thing. Like, look, especially like the ammo belt, like
Oh,
Sneaker was mentioned before.
Oh, here you go.
Look at that.
Yeah, here you go.
So that bandolier on the first one is what I like about it the most, because I agree with Sneaker. Like, I didn't like the new belt replaced on the repaint, but then you mix the both of them with the
Yeah.
final one here, and just it looks fantastic. He's bigger, you can tell, and also I like the fact that he has brown boots there, just to kind of throw off
Yeah.
some of that extra black that he's got going on there, and it feels like what Boba Fett would look like if he, upgraded his suit over time. So I mean,
Yeah.
I dig this look a lot.
I like everything about this new one over, like I said, over the first one here, outside of just the shipping. But even like now that you have them compared, like the all black just looks so much, and that's probably what makes them look thinner. Is
Could
you
be.
don't see this
Yeah.
white tannish flap here. And then obviously the armor looks a little bit more drained because it's chipped away. You see a lot more silver. And then you just see the color difference between the two here. I think this one's my least favorite
Yeah.
because I love the rich colors here. But
Damn.
again, you can see like the paints are different. And yeah, the boots are more of a brown. Like he's got rich colors all
Mhm.
over the place. Ah, it's tough.
Which one of us will buy first?
I'm not buying this figure anytime
It's
soon.
gonna it's gonna be Jedi. It's Jedi.
I mean, I'm gushing a little bit here, but
Once you get this, you'll want the throne too. Like,
Yeah.
you guess
throne
you
is
could buy it
beautiful.
separate, but the throne is like if you have this Boba, to me, like you have to get the throne.
For sure.
That's like for me at least. I don't think I would have it without it. Now that I've had the throne in hand, it's just so cool.
so if you're looking at them side by side, do you guys still have the same opinion where you like the first one, or does it change your guys' opinion at all?
I really
the
like.
first one is
go
so
ahead, Dilo.
unique, though. Sorry,
It
I
is.
think this first one is so unique because it's just like this was literally thrown together at the last second. He picked it up off the ship, and he didn't have time to tweak anything. It's just like, on the go. Freaking Fennec and Mando are fighting out there. I need my suit back, and it's just like I dig that for that. Now the painting. I mean, I understand the paint job. I know it's obviously what happened to the armor while it was away from him, so it makes sense. Is it the prettiest? No, clearly not. But I just feel like this is where like the moment in time of where this suit takes place, like trumps aesthetically how good the other ones look in comparison. I just feel like that scene is just so badass that like, how could you not like the suit just for that alone? You know what I mean?
No, I
Just a little bit.
It's like his
When it-
reawakening, right?
Sure.
And even the middle one, if you get close to it, you see the detail where it's almost like you see layers of paint. You see where, if you paint over something that had paint chipping, you see the layers.
Yeah.
Like that has that too. So that's really cool too. You can see it in the armor here and then up
But
top.
that's inaccurate though. That's the thing that when this was announced, that was totally something a lot of people in the community did not like. Just because in the show it didn't have the chipping on it there, it was smoothed out and it was just completely flat. But for
Sure.
some reason, Hot Toys made it this way here. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting. All right, let's I was beating up Cad Bane there. All right. Yeah, very cool. Let me just check in with the chat really quick because we've had some people drop in. We got Andrew Craig in the house. What's up, guys?
What's
Hope
up?
everyone is well. Not gonna lie, when I saw this, I was a little surprised. Out of all the characters and figures that can be announced right now, it's another Fett. Well, just keep in mind this is released, so it was already announced, but it's finally out. So maybe now you don't have to worry about Boba Fett coming up anytime soon. But we'll see. It's becoming like a Iron Man to Marvel type of thing, where
it really is.
how many variants of Boba Fett can we make? So, I can see this going for super cheap in the aftermarket. I agree. And again, I want to talk about this with the waitlist stuff because even some of the stuff that's waitlisted on Sideshow right now is still going for super cheap on the secondhand market or the secondary market. So we want to talk about what does it all mean and whatnot. But yeah, I think Gold Spotchka might be onto something there too. I asked the question, what is the realistic number of Boba Fetts to have in a collection? So let me know what you guys think in the chat. We got Miami's Nemesis 1 in the house. What is going on? We also have Reversed Zio. What's up, fellas? What is going on?
What's up?
Cheers to you,
What's up,
mate.
guys?
I'm actually, DLO, I don't know if you'll care about this because you don't really drink, but I got some Highland Park 18-year-old scotch.
Oh, that shit's
18
good,
years.
dude.
Ooh, wow. I don't know what that is.
Save some for me.
It's
Coming
like a little
back.
campfire in your mouth.
Save
I'll be
a
back.
little, yeah, save a little more for me. Don't drink it all.
We got David who loves his quarter scale. He says, pick up the quarter scale. It's glorious. William has 8 Bobas. What does that say about him, guys? D-Lo,
I
I'm gonna let you
replied
take
back.
this one.
You can go find my comment there.
Okay, we'll get to it. David says, realistic Boba Fett, take 3. So this is the third take that they're doing for this guy. And for shows that did okay, but yeah, just interesting that they're really milking this one. So D-Lo says, let's go Wolfpack members. Reverse says this one's dope. Color pops nice. I think that's what really interests me about it is just, yeah, those rich colors. So, and D-Lo says that makes you rich. LOL. Yeah, that Arena Fett does look pretty good, Spotchka. It's tempting, but again, can't get another Boba here. So
That Arena Fett is so cool, man.
oh God, please no, not like a Bantha. No,
Bantha.
no, past that. I got AZ figs. That throne shot is the reason why I bought Throne by itself to put with this Boba. Good idea. Good idea. Miami's Nemesis selects the middle one. Looks clean. Got Doc Bat in the house. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming in. David likes the far right, hands down. 3 Bobas max. Oh, Josh, he likes the scotch. He wants me to share that. So it sounds like 3 is kind of like the sweet spot.
Sure.
Probably 1 from the OT, and then maybe you do have bird poop Boba, and then you have a repaint or something like that, or a variant. Maybe you have OT like arena suit or the holiday one, and then you have something from the new age. So interesting.
Man, if this came with a head sculpt, that would maybe push
Hands
me over
down,
the
yeah.
edge.
That's
All
what I'm
thinking.
saying. Like,
Yeah, D'Lo, and you brought that up. That literally didn't even cross my mind. But I'm looking at this like I kind of want this, but like if it had a head, like that's just I just don't get it, man.
And
They
you
should
know
have
what you
included
do
the head
too?
sculpt with this
The
one.
quarter scale one looks like
Yeah.
a masterpiece. So
Yeah, it
why
looks
not just
really
shrink
good.
it down and just like put it in this packaging? But
And they've
you know
done
what?
it. They've done it. It's just so weird.
I'm telling you, I think it's just because there might be plans for another Boba Fett release down the road, and maybe they
But
want
the
to
Boba
double
season
dip.
2.
No, I'm saying like, what if they're we're just,
Boba's not
like,
done. Boba's 100%
Boba isn't-
not
I just
done.
don't see it, right? I mean, it was
No.
weird he didn't show up in Mando 3. I thought for sure we'd see him pop up again there, but I mean that season was a complete misfire. But yeah, I thought we'd see him sooner, but I think they probably had plans to like get another Boba Fett out this time with the head sculpt. So now you already bought this one, and now you got to get the other ones. But who knows? Who knows what
If
the
this
plan
would have
is for
came with the
Boba.
heads, if this was like would have came with the head sculpt, and I would have known that, I probably would have tried to acquire the throne separately and got this one
for sure.
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Or sell my my figure loose or something like that.
Yeah,
that,
right.
that I already got. Something like
Yeah.
that. So, but for sure, and maybe, gosh, I hope like JC Hong and everybody else over there at Hot Toys doesn't watch us over here. Howard, if you're listening, turn off, put it on mute. I mean, what if they're trying to do like a Toy Fair exclusive with this kind of style suit, with the throne, with the head sculpt, and there it is. There,
They
the
could
mystery
reuse it for
solved.
sure.
It'd be like
Everything.
kind of like Loki.
Like Wonder Woman. Loki.
I mean,
The
we
throne
kinda
is new,
saw that.
but you take Endgame Loki, you put the TVA head, and then you throw in a throne. You already have the throne, so yeah, why not like mix and match and just
Yeah,
poof,
just
here you
kit
go.
bash.
Boba comes with a
Yep.
back to tank this time.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
That would be cool. If there was
I'm still holding out that Vader can come
Back
with
to
a
tank is made
meditation
out of
chamber.
cardboard because they're cheap. Just
What do you
saying.
guys think? Since they don't really do vehicles with Star Wars, what about a meditation chamber? That's not too overly big.
I
Vader?
feel like that's more of the jazzing
Might be
kind of.
It would be big.
Probably.
It'd be pretty tall.
It'd be like
would.
that,
On that.
yeah, because it's like probably it's double the height of him when he's sitting at
Yeah.
least. So
Yeah,
it'd be really
it would
tall.
be big.
Right.
Be cool though.
It'd be cool.
Sure.
It's a pipe dream. We also got an announcement of Imperial Praetorian guards from The Mandalorian Season 3. Now, I'm going to get your guys' take on this, but I'm just going to start and say I have no interest in these whatsoever, but that doesn't mean that other people don't. So I'm going to start at the bottom this time. I want to go with Brick and get your thoughts on these.
I think they look pretty badass, but I have no interest myself. I got a long way to go with Star Wars, as you guys know, as the chat knows. So this is definitely closer to the bottom of my list, but I know a lot of people are excited for this, and I don't blame them. It looks badass, and just not my thing right now. So that's about all I got to say about this one.
If I was into the Praetorian guards, I would definitely start with the Return of the Jedi guards and go from there. Even though they don't, these guys, I mean, I could see why people would want these because they're actually doing something and they're in action, and you see them fighting and Mando and whatnot. Where
well, I love that Mandalorian helmet.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. They look cool, but like, Brick, are you trying, like, what is your direction that you're taking for Star Wars? Are you looking more into prequels, OT?
I'm looking for characters, so it doesn't matter what they're from. If I really enjoyed them in whatever movie show they were in, such as Ahsoka or something, I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
Or try to. I want Han. I'm not crazy on getting certain characters because I'm focusing more on a Luke or a Han or maybe even Chewie. I want to. Shoot, I would even go into the sequels and get a Rey Skywalker just to know that I have that one piece from the sequels. I wouldn't dig too into it, but
sure,
I want something from each series and a character that I like from each one.
Okay,
so,
that's fair enough.
And then of course it's gonna go like, and getting like 20 characters,
and then you'll end up like
me,
me,
like everybody
just
else.
losing your direction completely.
Yeah.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
I just gotta watch out buying female characters, because then I get some guy on me about
It's just a coincidence. I'm just putting the pieces together. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a
Nothing wrong with
coincidence
doing
that I said Ahsoka and Rey, so I hear you.
It's all good. Collect what you love, Brick. Collect what you love.
Yeah, and I love women, so it's all good.
Because Brick loves the ladies.
He's a ladies' man. Hey, sweet thing, can I buy you a fifth sandwich?
Oh, you're very party.
All right, Sneaker, you gonna sneak around and get this little guy?
Around. Yeah, so let me start off by saying, like, I'm happy that that Hot Toys did what they did with this one and created it so that you can have up to the 3 that are in the show, where they do interchangeable weapons and make it so you can piece them or take them apart or whatever, so you can make it accurate to the show. And if you want to have all 3, you can by buying the same figure. I think that's a really smart move. And I'd much rather have it like that than them separated out. You know what I mean? Because then if you want to do it all at once, you can. I'm definitely getting 1. I would love to have 3. This is for somebody like me who collects, that's why I kind of like staying within Star Wars, because it gives me the liberty to collect more than just characters. Rather than branching out. And I like this type of stuff. I really like, you guys know I really love troopers. This for a Praetorian guard, I like these a lot more than the ones that are in the sequels. Like the Mandalorian helmet is just that Mandalorian style
I
cut
agree with that.
and the helmet just looks so cool.
Looks awesome.
It's almost like I feel like this falls kind of right in the middle of what we get for like a Royal Guard from the original trilogy and a Praetorian Guard from the the sequels. Like, I just love this design. I think it's so cool looking. So I'll definitely get 1. We'll see this is where it gets really interesting with the market. What's going to happen with the value of these, because these are, I think, $245 retail. That's what, 7,246. You're looking at $750, close to $800 probably, $750, $800, like tax shipping wherever you buy it from, for 3 of these guys. That's a tough pill to swallow right away. So I'll get 1 because I really like it, and it'll go really nicely with the season 3 Moff Gideon for sure. Those are going to look really, really cool together. It's a really cool figure. I can see why people wouldn't want to get it though. But yeah, this one's for me. I'm gonna 100% get this. But yeah, this is where, like I said, it gets dangerous for me because my mind goes to wanting 3 of these immediately when I saw it. You
It's
know what I
almost like
mean?
mandatory in a weird way. If you're interested, like
Yep.
immediately, you're not thinking
Yep.
1, you're thinking 2, and
Right.
then maybe 3
Yeah.
instantly. If
Just-
this is like on your radar,
Yeah, I feel like the majority of people, I feel like there's going to be 2 camps. People who don't get this at all, and then the other people who all want 3. That's what how I feel about this.
I
Like,
agree. I think-
yeah, so I think that's a good
Just get
thing.
one a
for-
week.
And well, I think, yeah, 1 a week. I think that's a good way for them to sell this figure too, because if people don't want it, there's going to be people that want it that are going to buy multiples. So
Sure.
it'll be really interesting to see what happens with this one on the market. But yeah, I'm going to want 3 of these at some point. So
Do you think they'll make enough that this thing stays around that people can get
That's
this
what's-
free, or do you think
yeah.
it's going to be more of a small batch thing where it might
I think
be
this.
tougher to
I
do that?
think this one will be around because they know that people are going to want multiples. I know that that's kind of risky to say because there's this clone trooper that came out, the one that I got burned on for not pre-ordering that I still don't have. Just like the regular clone trooper that people are like, well, it's an army builder. They're going to make a bunch of them that they didn't make a lot of. So I don't know. It's going to be like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the market with this, but also I feel like a lot of people aren't that high on Mando season 3 either. So I could see this one not really being crazy sought after and it potentially, sitting. I don't know if this one's necessarily going to be sold out like some of the other ones. I hope it doesn't.
Well, and DLO, you had a good point. Like, not a lot of people were thrilled with season 3. Does that have any effect on you if you want to get these or not? Like, does it matter if season 3 kind of left a stink, for you, or is it just based off the figure?
I think that's going to be like the $1 million question with this figure, right, guys? Because it's just like, it's a Praetorian Guard. Praetorian Guards historically do really well on the market there.
That's
I
a good
mean,
point.
the Last Jedi, for everything you can say about that movie and the new trilogy, I think universally that's the only thing that is praised from those movies. There is that fight scene with Rey and what's his face right now? I can't even think of his name. It's been so long since I watched the movies.
Kylo Ren.
Kylo
Oh
Ren.
my-
Thank you.
Come on
Sorry.
now.
Come on,
Look,
jabroni.
Come on
the
now.
movie
Come on,
sucked.
jabroni.
I tried to get it out of my brain, but you know what? No, jokes aside, I had 4 of those guards, and I loved those guards. Those
They're
guards
cool.
were awesome, and I kind of, for the same reason EvilSneakerr said, like, they parted out those figures. They released 2 different guards with 2 different styles of helmets and weapons and all that. So to Sneaker's point, like, this is a real good value just because you get everything you need to build up your figures. I mean, your guard set if you want to go that route. Me, it was like I had to get 2 of each guard to get it there, and it's pretty expensive to do. But did it look awesome? 1,000%. But eventually, I sold them anyways. But just because I had my royal guards, I was like, I'm good with just these. So I mean, to answer your question on this one here, I kind of like agreed with everything Sneakerr said. Like, this is definitely like a good mix of like where we came from, the original guards. And notice that the garments underneath are red instead. They're like that maroon, similar to how it is on the originals. I don't know how I feel about the helmet. I mean, I just feel like everything is Mandalorian. I don't understand how their history goes helmet that looks like Mando. But I mean,
I think it's probably more Gideon. I think Gideon probably pushed that more.
I feel
Like
like
maybe
it was
that
just
was the vibe.
what they had in the prop box and just resprayed it red, and I like that it's a TV budget sometimes. Like, so, I mean, they're known to reuse so many parts of, like, so many things from like Rogue One, like the Rogue One troopers are reused from on the show. The Solo movie, tons of stuff is reused for that stuff there. But at the same time, Praetorian Guards are fantastic. I don't know. After now, this is going to be our 3rd version of the Praetorian Guard. How this stacks up to collectors compared to which ones they value priority wise to get first, right? Because I think we can all agree probably the Royal Guards are probably the most sought after
Right.
out of the group there. And then there's a section of fans like myself that really enjoyed the Last Jedi version. And then you have the Mando one that comes off a really underwhelming season, right? And we just finished talking about Boba Fett and how many Boba Fetts are out there and, what you can get them for, etc. And this one being from like the worst Boba Fett possible show you can get, right? So it's kind of like it's stuck in that same regard there too. So I think Sneaker nailed it. It's going to be 50-50 across the board. Either you don't care about this at all, or you're that person that's really thinking about, doing 2 or 3 to flesh out your collection to really just have that representation there. But overall, it's a great looking figure. But if I was a person looking for a guard and I didn't have any of them, this would probably be my last pick.
Gotcha. Very good. Let's see. We got they call me Queso Blanco in the house. Sup, fellas? Jedi says, I think you need 3 of them to recreate the scene, but for that much money, you could buy the Sand Trooper and Dewback.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
When you put it that way, I would much rather have the Sand Trooper and Dewback.
Yeah, perspective.
Sneaker?
All about perspective.
I mean, I'm buying that anyway, so it doesn't really apply to me.
Means nothing to me.
The Dewback and Sand Trooper's coming home regardless of what I think of any other figure. I'm not. That's a whole separate thing for me.
That's my new DeLorean.
We got the gaslighter himself, the firefighter in here. And the big Breda. What's up, fake collectors? So glad you could be here, sir. So glad you could read it on my face. Christian Cooper in the house. What's going on? Good to have you here, sir. Let's see here. Breda says, get one, wait for discounts for the other 2. Patience is key. That's true. That's a good point.
Hopefully that's how it works. Hopefully that's what happens. That's ideal.
Yeah, hopefully. But
that's how it goes.
And I don't really know these days. But any other thoughts on this guy before we move on?
Can I say one more thing? I just want to say, DLO, you mentioned that these may not sell, like you had said, Mando was like, had left a sour taste in some people's mouths, but so did The Last Jedi, and those Praetorian guards sold like hotcakes, and they're hard to get still. So
that was like the one thing that sold out of that entire line.
Hey, but it's still sold, man. It's still
no.
And I would say, in Mando season 3, I would argue that this moment with these guards was one of the higher moments of the season because these guys were badass in the scenes that they were in. You know what I mean? They were
the
pretty
bar
cool.
is so low, man. It's almost like you can jump over it on 1 foot. You know what I mean? Like that's how lame that season was. I mean, it was really like I was wondering, like, when is it going to start? And it was over.
So would you say, like, as a whole for Mando season 3 versus a whole as The Last Jedi, what's going to be more favorable in the community though? Probably not The Last Jedi.
That's tough. Yeah, because we've had years to hate.
Yeah,
those movies here. We've only had a few months to hate this.
Because I still think these Mando season 3 things that are going to come out, like people are still going to buy them. Like that Moff Gideon, people are going to buy.
I don't know, because maybe, but I just think that there's just so much. I don't know. I think the fact that season 3 was a miss is a very easy excuse for people not to buy these figures and move on to something else. Just in that regard alone. Not saying
how much are the other figures?
Good.
How much are the other figures going for from the other movies?
It varies. It depends on which figure it is we're talking about. The Praetorian guards probably have the highest, and maybe
they're probably the highest of the sequels, yeah.
Or the Han Solo.
So this is a really good chance to get this figure if you really wanted one, or wanted 3. This is your chance to get 3 of them for a cheaper price. But
we'll see.
I just think it sucks compared to the other ones. I'm just going to throw a statement with that there.
Yeah, fair enough.
I get the Royal Guard of the Praetorian.
I mean, the one if you could only pick one, it'd be the original trilogy guard, 100%. That's
so would you put these over the Praetorians from The Last Jedi?
Yeah, I would pick these over those.
You think so?
Yeah.
I
like the design more, but I still think like it's pretty close. I think the Praetorian guards from The Last Jedi are cool, but this design just looks cool to me.
I don't know. Maybe you just got to have them. Maybe buy one. Tell me what you think. I like them.
I'll buy one. Yeah. I don't have any of the I have one sequel figure, so because I'm trying to get everything else first before I dive into sequel stuff. But
sure.
Yeah.
Sneaker, are you a big fan of the sequels?
I have. I don't hate the sequels. Like I have my issues with them, but there's parts of it that I like. I think I've kind of talked about a little bit in the past. When it comes to the sequels, there's a lot of stuff outside of the movies that kind of flesh things out, but you shouldn't have to go hunting for that stuff. I think I've talked about in the past, a trilogy should stand on its own. You shouldn't have to pick up the pieces and make things better with other mediums. But there's there's some good stuff out there, and I think Mando.
Hold on one second before you go any further about that there. So what do you call the Clone Wars animated show and the Rebels and all that other stuff that everybody swears by? I mean, not to.
So I mean, no, I think that's good, but I like. Well, I like the prequels like as a standalone though. Like the people that grew up with him, like me, they like him. Like Brick, you know, I would guess. Like, and Brick hasn't seen Clone Wars stuff. He still loves the prequels. So I think for me personally, the prequels stand on their own. The sequel to me, like, I think that's where you get more shallowness, like based from the other 1 through 6 movies. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm not really like, I don't hate them, but like I said, like, yeah, there's problems. We could talk about this all day where they should have had the same director. They should have made it. Yeah, they should have made it cohesive. But there's things that I like about him, and I think it's unfortunate that we're in the situation that we're in right now with where they stand in the community. But I think we'll see what happens as they continue to kind of flesh out the time period getting to that point. I'm hopeful that like they can still do some intriguing stuff there. But we'll see. That's all I'll say about that. I don't know if I'll get sequel figures. I have Rey Skywalker. That's the only one I had, and I got her because she was a really good deal, and she's actually a really cool figure. But there's some other stuff that are a higher priority than those characters for me right now.
So this is the Last Jedi Praetorian Guard, and this is just one of 2. But this is the one that I think looks better, helmet-wise and whatnot. So if you compare it,
so each come with 2 helmets and
I definitely like the helmet better on the on the Mandalorian one. I think I like.
I feel like the other ones just look like the other ones look like a block. There's like
it looks like
just a block of plastic
from like a Resident Evil movie or some weird shit. I don't
Minecraft
know,
or something.
They look cool together if you get them all together. You know, like I had when I used to collect Black Series, I had all the guards together, and they're a unique combination that you need, and they look really cool together. But to get all of them for the throne room scene for the Last Jedi would be crazy. You know,
call me crazy. I did it. I got pictures.
Yeah.
But you know what I like about it? There's no visor. There's no black slit on the red helmet. It's just clear. It's clearly just red, and I kind of dig that. It's almost like I kind of picture like they're blind warriors and stuff. They're kind of like force sensitive, and like that's how they fight. So I don't know. I think I like that.
That looks cool.
Right there. Look at that.
Cool.
Is that your picture, DLO?
No, but I kind of wish I took that one.
Yeah, this is the other style right here. Then.
Yeah, this looks pretty cool.
Almost like a samurai looking thing.
Yeah, it's got like some Japanese stuff to it.
Very Shogun style to it there for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Shall we move on to the next topic?
We shall.
A somewhat friend of mine, more of an acquaintance, Big Breda, came out with this somewhat trashy video. No, I'm just kidding.
Terrible.
It's such a good video. Such a good video. No,
you liked it.
Yeah, if you guys, if you haven't, head over to Big Breda's channel. This guy knows a lot about the hobby, also about like Hot Toys, Inart, but then third-party figures as well. So there's just a lot of stuff that you might not even know about when it comes to like 1/6 figures. So go check out Big Breda. He was nice enough to let me kind of like skim through this video, so there are pictures of the Inart Gandalf, but I thought this would be kind of cool to see kind of just real-time images, if you will, of the Gandalf that was just released by Inart, and want to get your guys' take. So obviously we have the box, the packaging. It looks like a kind of a hefty box here, you know, thick, almost like an Iron Man style box. Nice packaging with Inart. They always have good presentations. You know, they try to make it an experience for, you know, the buyer. Give you that little welcome envelope. I'm just going to skim through to the good stuff.
Those hands.
You got the liver spotted hands. Very nice. Let me see here. DLO, I want to get your thoughts on this thing, because I know you're very interested.
Yeah, I mean, am I the only one that has it on pre-order right now?
I think so.
I
think so.
Okay. Looks sick. I'm very impressed. It looks better than the Joker that they put out. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the attention to detail in this one here compared to my experience with the first release.
Look at that
This
book,
is
man.
Look at
look
that.
at that. Look at that. Oh,
Wow.
I'm glad that Breda keeps his nails trimmed and his fingers in healthy condition. Makes the experience of watching this better. Thank you.
you can tell Brayden moisturizes his hands. Look at that, bro. You have a skin routine.
Wait, those are Breda's hands?
Yeah, this is Brady's video.
See that? You never would have guessed a man like him would have hands like that. Go figure.
Right?
Pipe.
Dude, look at the
Soft and
pipe.
supple.
Wow.
The pipe is so cool.
Inart loves doing their little paper accessories. Look at this.
Look at that.
This
That's-
little ring.
Hey man, that is the whole point of the whole book.
It's just so crazy
Do
that
not
they
lose that thing.
Yeah, so sorry.
Is that
That's a
real
cool new
gold?
accessory they just added there. That's cool. They showed that a couple days ago. Look at that.
Wow.
So,
die-cast sword. That's the.
I mean,
only
what do you guys
thing
think?
that's-
Like Sneaker, are you impressed with what you're seeing so far? Obviously, we haven't gotten to the figure yet, but like, does this do much for you? Or are you a Lord of the Rings fan? Impressed
I like
with
Lord of the
quality.
Yeah, I like Lord of the Rings. This figure is insanely good. Inart's been I'm impressed. I'm impressed, no doubt. The figure, I know we're gonna get to the figure, but yeah, this figure looks insane, man. It's so
Look at that
good.
staff.
I
It'll
don't
be
know what to do with all these accessories.
Yeah, I'm glad that Inart isn't tapping into some other stuff that I would be really, really interested in, because it's tempting. Like everything that they've shown to me, like is intriguing, and like Aragorn is another one that, like, when I first saw that one, I was like, wow, this looks just crazy good. So yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed for sure. I'm not getting this, but like I said, whenever I see a figure where I'm like, wow, this would be so cool to have, and I'm not really all that interested in the character, like that's when I would say that, yeah, it's pretty impressive.
No, I mean, even the base, it's simple, but I love it. And here we're getting to the head sculpt. Brick,
Oh man.
first impressions here. Think it looks good?
Personally, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think between all the figures this year, I don't have it in hand, but this is figure of the year. The way it looks, I mean,
Ooh, bold.
there's
That is bold.
there's nothing this detailed.
I mean, for
right
Inart,
now.
for sure.
This is so. I mean, the way
One of one. Nailed
One
it.
of one,
Yeah.
baby.
One
right.
figure of the year.
We're
Let's go.
releasing our number one
I
figure
just-
this year.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I know we're all Hot Toys fans, and Hot Toys is like number one for us. But this is
I thought Brooke
this
was
is
gonna yell at
something.
us.
This is something very like special in our community to have this, to be able to collect this. I mean, this is high quality stuff right here. And I love Lord of the Rings, so that might be part of it too. Unfortunately, I did not pre-order this, but I guess I'm waiting for Gandalf the White, so we'll see if that ever comes out. But yeah, this is far superior than much that I've seen. I mean, come on.
How do you guys feel about messing with the
I don't like that.
burrs behind the rooted hair? That
I hate that.
That
kinda
scares me
a bit.
I hate
I
that.
don't like that.
See, when it comes to some of their mechanics, I should say, it's not very high,
I mean, sure,
but like
aesthetically, this
the way it
looks beautiful.
looks, yeah.
I think as far as like messing, I think we all hate the fact that you have to like pull off the back of it like that, but I have yet to hear anybody say that they've had an issue with their figure doing that, like, oh, my hair ripped off, or like, I haven't heard anybody have any issue when it comes to, if that was an issue, people would voice it, and I feel like that's one that hasn't really come up, like, oh, I really messed up the hair ripped off when I pulled the back off. Like, nobody's really said anything, at least about the Joker. Nobody's really said anything about
I don't
that.
think anybody's gonna say that though, Sneaker. I think it's more of just kind of having to fuss with it. And then
Yeah, I mean, it sucks
Right,
having to
that's
fuss
what I
with
was
it, but
thinking.
yeah, I
Like-
feel like
like-
I don't think anybody wants to have to do that, but I feel like it's not gonna. I guess
you
from my
are
perspective,
two
it's
different
not
people.
gonna
Like
mess
you
it
can
up.
tell just by looking at us, you and I are two different people. Like I hate
We look a
messing with
little
hair, so I wear a hat. You can pass.
Oh,
for
dude,
twins,
I
depending on
got
the
long hair,
day at the
man.
time.
Doesn't bother me at all.
But look at me. I'm a guy that wears a hat almost every stream. I hate messing with my hair. It's a pain in the ass. If I'm not going to do my own hair, I'm not going to do Gandalf's. But Mr.
Fair point.
Clearly my man conditions 3 times a week over here. This is no big deal to him.
You're talking about me?
I'm talking about you. I'm definitely
Damn
not talking
right.
about Graham.
Damn
I'm not
right,
talking
bro.
about Graham.
I take care of my hair, man.
Oh man,
I'm gonna take really good care of this.
that would
this
be
rooted
annoying
hair.
though when you
Feathered and
put,
lethal.
when you put that back piece back on, and then you're like, ah, shit, like hair got inside of it. Then you got to take it off, flip the hair up, put it on again. That would get annoying. But what's up, Riley?
Talking about hair here. We're talking about hair. So obviously I'm not going to have any skin in the game here, but we got Riley Reviews in
up,
the
Riley?
house. Says, what's up, guys? Hope you're well. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well as well. Main difference between Mike's talking about the guards yet here. The guards from Mando and the ones from Last Jedi is the Mando guards don't have the weapons that magically disappear during fight scenes. LOL. No, Chazzy, finally Star Wars talk is over. I'm sorry, but it's what the people love.
Gets the people going.
Plays of glory. We got Thick Bantha Boy in the house. Love the name. Love the OG 3. But episode 1 for me hits hard because I was unable to see in theater when released. Jar Jar for life. Oh boy, oh boy.
Yes, let's go. Dude, day 1 purchase for me. Come on. I've been saying that, every show now? Let's go.
Got to know we 2 in the house. What's going on, friend of the channel? Do we know if this is an official release or limited release Gandalf? Will history repeat itself and USA customers get theirs next year? That is the big question. And while Brick is gushing, and we're all gushing over how this figure looks, Inart still has a lot of stuff to work on. Maybe some of the mechanics with the figure, but more so, I think their customer service. Like, they do some things really well. Like, they get in front of people and they're talking, but are they really backing up what they're saying? And I remember Joker was Q4 of last year and came out Q1, which wasn't the end of the world, but you'd think with your first figure you'd really want to nail it and get it out on that targeted date. But then some people just recently were getting their Joker. So, definitely a lot of growing that they're going to need to do. But, we can't deny that the figure itself looks amazing, and they've put a lot of work in it. So
my thing is, like, I've always wanted to get into Lord of the Rings, but I believe Artemis has the license over here in the States. And I don't know if you guys have ever looked at the figures there, but, some people are fans of Artemis and their figures. Me personally, I don't like them. So I was, I stayed away from Lords of the Ring. But, the Gandalf that you have here, I think someone posted in one of the groups a picture of Gandalf the Whites compared to the now Inart one there. And that was billed as the best Gandalf ever made. And then you put them side by side, and it's not even close, guys. This is far superior. Yeah. Far superior. And you can be an Inart lover or hater or whatever like that, but I just call it down the middle.
Yeah. If the figure looks good, it looks good.
This looks good. This is the best Gandalf that we've seen so far from any manufacturer so far. So, in my opinion, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, this is definitely on your radar, if not almost a must-have, regardless of whose name is on the box.
I agree.
I'm just going through comments here. Yeah, I think they're onto something here, but obviously the delivery hasn't been perfect, but the figure itself looks great. I'm just seeing what Breda was doing here with the outfit. Let's see if we can just get him full. Breda, did you do any poses? Come on, man.
The look of the figure, there's nothing that I dislike about it.
Right.
Right there. I'll tell you, that's what I dislike right there. You see that?
Yeah,
right there?
You would have thought they would have fixed this before putting this out. Again, just the one magnet to have him standing in the middle.
I wonder if it's any different.
It doesn't look different.
But again, I'm not talking about the mechanics. I'm talking about...
They show you where to put the magnets on this time. That's the only change to the base. It's still the same kind of base, but now they tell you in the instructions where on the base.
Like, they tell you where to put the figure on the base?
In the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. You got to put it exactly here. That's what Breda showed in this video here, which, thanks, we could have figured that ourselves. We're not idiots. Like, this kind of treating us like idiots over here, but, kind of a little condescending. But how about you just a giant magnet in there? That little one here, one here. Let me use the whole damn base how I want to, 100%. And I'll pose it where I want to. Thank you very much. Don't tell me how to pose it. See, this is the part that irks me about them, though. See, as much as I can gush about it, I can do a complete 180 and say how much I hate this as well, too. Because because the truth of the matter is just like Inart, if you're watching or whatever your promotion, whatever the guy who goes on the streams, his name is here. If you're watching
John.
I'm going to tell you, John. That's your real name, John. But anyways, like, this is the part that irks me here. Like, you're a statue company. I understand that. But we are 1/6 collectors. We are not used to being told how to pose our figures. Let us pose it how we want to. Find a better solution, or possibly a compromise here where you have your magnets, which I think is a great idea in theory, but I want you to execute it better. But give the customer who doesn't like the magnet base an optional, like, hidden peg where you can put a crotch grabber there or something like that. just to kind of give somebody some options. Because the one thing I don't want to do is I don't always want a quote unquote statue pose, as we call it in the hobby. I want to be able to pose it if I want to pose it. At least I want the option to. When you tell me that if I'm going to use your base, I got to pose it exactly on these two little footsies here because you put your magnets right there. That's the part that pisses me off. Like, I spend good money on this. I should be able to pose this however I want to. And that's the one thing I feel like they don't get, that part where it's just like that's the part of the hobby where not everybody likes a static pose. Not everybody likes the music. Some people like to do dynamic things. And if you're giving us a base and we want to use this base, that magnet is going to be a pain in the ass for those posers. So it's a pro and it's a con on that.
How would you want to pose this, DLO? Like, it's like if the magnet's in the base, like how would you want to pose this otherwise? Like with this base.
But here it looks like he's got him in.
I'm just curious. Like, I'm just curious your thoughts
on
that.
Like
Right,
wider stance, one foot in front of the other type of thing.
I mean, there's a couple of poses I have in mind. There was somebody who gave me some really great inspiration. There was somebody overseas who's already has it in hand, and they made their own bases for him. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that one there, but I mean, he has them in a bunch of different bases that he's customized himself, and he put them in like a sitting pose with the pipe, playing with the fireworks. He's done a pose where he's holding the sword. So I'm assuming like it's kind of like that scene at the end of the first movie where he's standing his ground and stuff like that. So there's a couple ideas I have there, but I mean, it's not a matter of what I have in mind now. It's what I'm going to have when I have it in hand.
Yeah.
Right? And what inspiration I'm going to find once I have an idea of what this figure can do. And if
you can't really do it.
If it can't live up to its entire potential because I'm limited by what they're giving me to work with, well, that's kind of a bummer because, it should be left to my imagination, not for the manufacturer to tell me how to pose my figure. And that's the one critique I have about them there, because it's definitely a statue company mentality when it comes to that part of their vision. And that's the one part I don't agree, because if you're going to come to a space for 1/6, you have to understand that there's people who are okay with that. And there's going to be people who want to push their figures and do something more dynamic with it too. So you got to find a way to let it do both in some kind of space, not just
not even dynamic, just natural. Like
right.
A very natural pose right here. This isn't the natural stance.
Are we talking strictly not natural just on the base alone? Because like my question would be like, would you pose this off the base or pose this next to the base to where he's not connected to anything and doing a more dynamic pose that way, where you have this in the picture but it's not sitting on a base?
Well, in a way,
like, would you guys consider that?
Because
for me personally, I would be if I'm posing this. And I don't want it standing like this. I personally would have no problem taking this off the base, posing it dynamically. I don't necessarily need anything to hold it up. Like 95% of my figures don't have anything holding it up. I pose them without stands, without crotch grabbers and the hooks. Like actually, I think I only have like 2 figures that are hooked or something. So like for me, I don't really worry too much about that. Like I try to just get my poses really stable, so I don't really worry about like anything holding it. That's why I was just curious on your thoughts as far as like I 100% agree with what you're saying, like that statue mentality of like if you put it on the base, you pretty much have to put it like how they want it.
The problem with the base though is if you have to use the base, for example, I do because I'm on the 2nd floor and everything's wobbly.
Yeah, if everything's shit.
Then this is the base they give you. So
so like if you're going to use the base, I think, and I'd be interested to see like, can you put one foot on the base and have the other one off and pose them somehow dynamically that way, or does it like shift the figure and pull it towards it, or like what happens when you try to dynamically pose one leg up?
From my experience with that, there, like if you do not have it exactly in place, there's a chance it could tip over. And then that's the thing, and this is where we gets into the tricky part of the conversation, right? Because you got collectors who are stands, no stands, right? So for the no stand person like yourself, this is not going to bother you at all. Who cares? Not a big deal to me, right? But then you got the person who does like to use stands. But more importantly, you guys both paid the same price for that figure. And then that's where the opinions start to differ, because you have the person who doesn't care about it like yourself, which is cool. I mean, more power to you there. There's a lot of people who feel that way. But then there's that one guy who likes his stands, wants to use his stands, and then if he can't use his stand the way he wants to, well, why am I paying this price? And that is where they're missing the point. Because if I can't use everything that you give me, and if everything you give me is how you want me to do it, how does it become my figure, and how is it not me borrowing yours and paying for it?
100%. Yeah, because there's some bases I like to use that for this. Like I like if I really like this base, like I have this deluxe Ahsoka who comes with this like like the wood base. Like if I have a base dynamic like that, I like to pose them dynamically on it, and you have to get them to sit just right. Like Death Trooper Specialist Deluxe is another one where it has that rock base. Like I like using those, but I feel like for this you can't really do that because the magnet's just gonna suck the foot right to where it wants it to go. So like I like you if it was me, I agree with what you're saying. I 100% agree with what you're saying as far as like, yeah, it would be nice when you get into figures, especially figures when they start coming out with these other ones that are more dynamic, where you want to put them into different poses. Like you're not gonna want, some of these, like what they have Wonder Woman coming in the future, they have Batman coming. Like you're not just gonna want them standing straight up on a base. Yeah. You're gonna want Batman doing something cool. You're gonna want Wonder Woman probably doing something dynamic. So, yeah, I agree with you. I wasn't trying to like disagree with you. I was just saying like from a different, different perspective
this
of
is
like
great conversation because
I think it's cool to pose dynamically.
Right?
Yeah, and I think you hit it like right on the head as far as like being able to pose it dynamically on the stand for me is important in some instances, and I know it's way more important to a lot of other people as far as like when you use a stand and you want to use it in some way like dynamically. Like that sucks when you have to put the figure right here in the center. That's a bummer for sure.
Yeah.
And you would think with the backlash with the Joker, they would have
done something,
fixed this a little bit or modified it.
Compromise. I think listen, you find a hole on the base here where you can hide it if you don't want to use a crotch grabber, but give somebody an option for that as well too. So that way, if they don't want to solely rely on the magnets, even for a safety perspective, I mean, think about like our fellow collectors are like in places like in California where you get earthquakes, and Brick was talking about being on the second floor. Like that magnet is not going to hold if you're getting yourself into a ruckus outside because there's an earthquake outside your door, right? I mean, I'm not saying a crotch grabber will like, of course, do the same thing, but I think you got a better chance with that. So I mean, there's reasons for it as well too. I think it's a simple fix, but it feels like it's a stubborn request that like they're not hearing that part. Like give customers an option to at least put the crotch grabber there. You can put a tiny hole, then you can have a pole with a crotch grabber in the back so that person can use it. And if they don't want to use that, do a simple little plug back in there so it goes smoothly with the rest of the base and it's unnoticeable.
So I feel like there's something they could do to work around the fact that,
or would there be a way to kind of flip it over and have like the same looking like on the top but also on the bottom, and then have
maybe
the magnet doesn't get involved. Yeah.
I mean, so Daniel says here, he says, what's an extra $15 for a base with stand if you're already getting this? I agree they should include a standard base, but this shouldn't be made out to be like it's a big deal breaker. I'm not saying it's a big deal breaker, but at the same time, you could look at it from the other aspect where I'm already paying all this money. Now I got to go out and pay another $15-20 if you're lucky. DLO, how much are your custom bases?
Yeah, they're not
20?
cheap.
They're not cheap. They're great though.
Roughly about 20.
20 to start.
It's just a hassle, I think.
I was trying to get 3/4 scale bases. It was 165. So yeah, they're not cheap.
And I feel like I'm more in the camp of, if you're already paying this much for a premium figure, you should not have to go out and buy another accessory.
That's where I'm going.
But that's not a deal breaker. It doesn't sound like, I don't think for any of us it's necessarily a deal breaker. It's more of just like a nitpick and an inconvenience. But it's kind of sucks. Like you're already spending this level of money on something and you got to go do that.
That's what it really is. It's just a quality of life thing. It's a simple fix. I mean, Hot Toys. Think of Hot Toys with all the Grogu sets and stuff like that. They have that feature simply on their bases. Like for example, like the Mando Deluxe, the original one, right? Not the Chrome one. Like when you had Grogu in the Pram, like there's like a little rock that can come off of the base. You can plug that hole there, so you don't have to have Grogu there if you don't want to. And then if you want to stand Grogu next to Mando, you can just take that out, plug him in, and then voila. I mean, that costs Hot Toys like what, $5 to do that feature, maybe less.
Yeah.
You tell me you can't do that on a $550 figure?
So Riley says, I'm pretty sure John stated in a stream that Inart didn't want to provide a crotch grabber to keep the realism aspect. They want to stick to the magnet display option. I understand that completely. While crotch grabbers, I think, support the figure a little bit better, I still think they can be a little bit of an eyesore, right? And they do take away from some of the realism aspect.
They can.
But what if, and you guys in the panel here, let me know what you think of this. This is just me spitballing. What if they give you the same base? They don't do the magnets at all, but you can have them free floating like this, or you have the little peg that pops out and you can put a transparent crotch grabber in. And if you want to have that extra security, you can. Is that something that's you would like better, or do you think the magnetic base is better and we just kind of deal with it?
I mean, would you even see the crotch grabber with his robe surrounding it?
But I
look
think
at
in
figures,
general.
but when I look at
see it.
figures, though, I notice the base and I notice the figure. I rarely put my eyes on the, the crotch grabber or whatnot. I guess I already know it's a figure, and I'm looking at the pose, I'm looking at the head sculpt, I'm looking at the outfit, the base itself. I'm not really caring. I care more about the security of my figures than I do having a crotch grabber or not. Like I want them to be secure and safe and not falling over. But again, that's just me. I know some people will come down, to your all's collection and notice all the crotch grabbers and might make a joke like, "Oh, what's that?" And take the fun out
What's
of it.
that thing?
But
What's that?
Yeah,
What's coming out of his
what's
ass?
that
Some
thing?
crotch
there.
grabbers got
Yeah.
such a bad name. I don't
What's
get it.
grabbing onto his crotch?
Yeah. But for me, it's just, I mean, look at, with Spider-Man, like he's obviously not in midair by himself, but it's badass. Like, I don't care that it's showing.
Sure.
So,
And Daniel says, where I live, there are a lot of earthquakes, but the magnets are very strong. Yeah, and I don't think the magnets itself is what concerns me, but the ankle joints,
Mhm.
for the weight of the figure kind of tipping
That's
over.
true, too.
But yeah, I mean, again, this is just something we're talking about. It's not like the end all be all or anything like that.
No,
We're just
no.
kind of making
I
conversation.
still want this figure.
Yeah,
and
working out.
Yeah, I mean,
working
again,
out
I'm
some of the
full disclosure.
nitpicks.
I'm the one that has it on.
Yeah, you're
pre-order.
getting
so it's
Right.
like it's.
I'm the one
I
that
was,
said it's the best looking figure
I was
so far.
gushing about it when we first started, and then obviously, you worked me into a shoot here, and we talked about the
Well,
basic.
D-Lo,
I
how
had
much
it
you?
For you
for my
people out
Joker.
there, this isn't a big deal, but maybe for somebody it is. So we're kind of talking about these issues that might arise, and if not, then no big deal. We're just shooting the shit. So
Can I ask
aesthetically,
D-Lo a question?
this thing looks amazing.
Can I
What's
ask
up,
D-Lo a question? How many of the how many
Yes.
figures in your how many figures do you actually use crotch grabbers and stuff on?
Oh gosh, almost all of them.
Oh, do you?
Almost all of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't
all my-
remember. I couldn't remember. I know Graham, you used a lot of them too.
yeah,
Brick,
And
you
I
use
used
a lot.
to,
Yeah.
I used to not use them at all. Like
yeah.
when I had
do
debuffs,
not use them.
I didn't at all. And then when I
But
got
I
Magic
love
Aces,
mine,
I
though.
didn't.
Like,
But I
shout
had
out-
too many instances where posing a figure in an elbow or something,
Yeah.
kids bumping into it, and then they all tip into each other, and then they're all hitting the plexiglass. Then you got to open the glass up, and you're just waiting for them all to fall on the ground. So
Mm,
I just wanted to be safe rather than sorry. So I just said, screw it. I'm just going to use the bases and whatnot.
Yeah.
But if you go to my earlier videos, I didn't use them at all.
Yeah, I have a hard
Yeah.
time using them. I'm in the camp of Brick. You're like, yeah, I don't really care. Like you know, it's a figure. You see it. I just have a problem with crotch grabbers.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, they're an eyesore. I feel like I can't do exactly what I want to do with figures in my case that aren't sitting on stands. Like I like to really space them out the way that I want them, and I feel like you're limited by that with the base, and then you have to angle the base a certain way if you want them posed a certain way on the base. So just for me, the overall aesthetic look of my collection, I just can't do the crotch grabbers. But
I will say
to
this:
each their
if
own.
I-
More power to you guys if you can actually use them, and that's what you like to do.
For me, what originally started off as an aesthetic thing, right? Because what bothered me the most about stands with Hot Toys specifically is they never stayed universal. So it always felt weird when you would start a new line and suddenly this one's a square, but this one's a hexagon, and this one is oval, and et cetera, et cetera. So it never really meshed. You just it looked like a weird amount, and that's when the stands really stood out. So what I did many moons ago when I started, and I just kind of keep it up now, is that I decided I wanted to go for a clean aesthetic where everybody has a similar looking base. So it shows this is from this line here. So my Star Wars base is, I have one right here. So my Star Wars base is very simple, very clean. Shout out to Stony. If you're seeing a Stony stands on Instagram, if you find him, I believe it's Blue Laser Ridge on Facebook if you want to order for that guy. But these are very simple. What I did with these here is because when I started early in my career, I found the bases to be very big, and obviously height was always a problem with the early times when with DTOFs or whatever kind of cases you came up with. So vertically speaking, if you were to stagger and kind of put them on some acrylic stands and stuff like that to kind of raise them up there, it'd be a nuisance because you got to count for the extra maybe couple more inches that the stand did as well too, and you'd be doinking the figure's head on the top at the end of the day. So I said I wanted to do something smaller, a little thinner than the standard one here, and clear acrylic, so again, it blends better into like a glass display. So
Yeah, it
almost
looks cool.
when I do this here, it was designed and thought out that way where it matches everybody, so everybody has something similar. So it's a cohesive ecosystem or whatever line I've got here, and at the same time, this is nearly almost unrecognizable in the background there. So you said, you see me here, hitting on the light here. I mean, you can
I don't even
see
see it.
but
I don't even. What
Where'd it
is
go?
that? What are you holding?
Yeah, it just looks like you're waving.
It's also
your
really
hand.
nice. It's also really nice because the black matches like the felt base of the Maji case.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's just a really clean look.
For
Like
sure.
I would have to have something like that, but I wouldn't.
If
I just can't
If I
do
had
it.
the option to not use, stands, I definitely would. But because I have to, I would rather have something like a crotch grabber more so than a magnet.
Quick shout out to Collector Joey in the house. What's going on, my
Joey.
friend? Thank you for being here. Brick, we're all in. Well, Delo's not, but yeah, you're in the upstairs. So I've walked into that room and I've seen your figures, just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So I get it. Like,
some of them.
That's a
Some
must to have it on something.
it's
but-
weird though, because I used to think without the stands they looked more realistic and elegant, but then I also think in a weird way with the base or the stand, it adds a little bit to them too if it's
Gotta be
you know,
done
maybe-
right.
Yeah, if it's done right. Like, so I don't know. I've kind of gone both ways on that, and I've kind of changed my thought, because then when you just put them in there, they almost look a little naked, like it's just like something's missing. It's weird, but
Well, in Spider-Man, the Spider-Man, they need a base. You need to be able to do these dynamic poses and make him, look.
They're
awesome.
not
You can't just have
necessarily.
them all.
I've seen some wicked, like, again, I'm not team no stand or by any means here, but like I've seen some wicked poses with
Yeah.
Spider-Man without any base at all.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's definitely
Well,
doable.
yeah, they have what with like dental flaw or a fishing line or some shit,
Yeah, like
hang
that's
them
some
and
stuff.
where they're like, yeah,
It's been
I've
pretty
seen that.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I feel
But
like
you know what,
gotta get
guys?
this-
To kind of to wrap this up, though, guys. I mean, listen how long we went on just talking about stands. So, but think about this here. We were talking about the Inart Gandalf, and we had a whole unplanned conversation about stands. So, Inart, if you're watching, this is your customer base. We don't
Right.
know what we want, so just give us both just in case.
Well, I think
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is everybody has their exact particular way of doing it when it comes to stands and posing, and like obviously when you're collecting at this level, I feel like you're very particular, you're very careful how you're posing, and you're very calculated with what you're doing in your display. So we're all going to have our different interpretation on what it means to like have a stand and how we want to utilize it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Collect the way you want, collect
Yeah.
what you like, but collect
Yeah.
how you like as well, right? So everybody's got their own way of doing it,
Yeah.
but
And I think like Riley. Sorry, go ahead, Graham.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Riley made a good point that Inart, they're trying to go for this like hyper realism with their figures. So their thing is, hey, we're gonna include these magnetic stands because realism is our thing, and that's not gonna appeal for everybody. But if that's what they're selling, and that's really what their like kind of like their vision is for the line, and that's how it's gonna be. That's how it's gonna be. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to figure out a way to work around that based on your display
Daniel
habits.
nailed it. Daniel nailed it. See right there? I mean, that sums it up in a nutshell. How silly of a conversation, yet how important it is.
Yeah.
You're
I think because we all know Gandalf looks so good, but the one
It's different
kinda-
technology too, so I think
Yeah.
that's why we're kind of talking about it a little bit more. But
I have no issues with how the Gandalf looks. It looks phenomenal. It
Yeah,
looks-
there's
It's a
nothing
beast.
better.
I'm going to
it's-
be
talk
curious,
about-
D'Lo, when you get it in hand. Yeah, kind of what your thoughts are
Yeah.
when you actually have it in
I
person.
know I'm gonna love it. Like I know,
Yeah.
like it's phenomenal. Like I said, I've been waiting years to pick up something for Lord of the Rings. I just absolutely refuse to go down the rabbit hole of Artemis because I just never found their quality be as good as a hot toy, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like my standard of what I'm gonna pick up. So Inart, I'm not saying Inart is hot toys by any means, but I'd say that they put a hell of a damn good product on its merits alone.
for sure.
It's worth a look, and I took the leap on that one, and I'm glad I did because
Yeah.
it's a stunning looking figure, and I really can't wait to get that.
Yep.
So Daniel is he's giving us a little bit of shit here. Hard guy to kind of please here when we're talking about Inart, but sounds like he is the Inart guy. So without further ado, let's give him a little bit more topics here. Maybe this is why what he's here for. Do we need Inart now that we have the Artisan line from Hot Toys?
Yes.
Well, Brick's going first, it looks like.
Go, Brick.
Go, buddy.
Yeah, we need
Unleash it.
Inart because if it wasn't for Inart, we wouldn't have Artisan. I mean, that's
That's a good point.
I mean that yeah. So it brings competition. It brings different different lines rather than just the main 3 that we're getting from Hot Toys. It brings some fun topics to talk about like we are right now, and with friends, fellow collectors. It's definitely needed in this community. It was Hot Toys and pretty much nothing else. And now we have some competition. We have more stuff to buy. We have Artisan coming now, which is a pain in the ass to try and grab apparently, but hey, it's okay. It's that competition. It's bringing that joy of collecting back to where, you have to get this figure. If you don't get it, it's going to be worth something. I think it's great. So yeah, we need Inart. Or something like Inart. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be Inart, but we need the competition.
Who wants to chime in next?
I'll take a little break. My throat hurts.
Oh.
You want me to go?
Bases.
Got the black lung paw.
Yeah. I think any competition is good. And I think Brick, I agree with Brick in saying that like we potentially wouldn't have the Artisan line if it wasn't for Inart, because Inart obviously gave Hot Toys a little bit of a wake up call. I think they obviously knew what was happening, and like people kind of like the Hot Toys is the big dog, right? When it comes to premium figures, and somebody's coming into their yard, they're going to be stepping their game up 100%. Even though Hot Toys is obviously putting out a lot more figures, Hot Toys doesn't really need to be concerned to that level that anything's going to happen. But I think I don't know that would Hot Toys have continued and been fine without Inart coming into the picture? Absolutely. So, do we need Inart? I guess if you take away that now that we have the Artisan line, I don't necessarily think that we need it, but I think it's really good for the hobby in general. And the Artisan line is, like I said, I think that's something that happened because of Inart, and it's only going to make Hot Toys better. I was just saying, and we don't know, it'll be interesting to see when the Artisan line actually drops how this even compares to what Inart has been putting out quality wise, because we don't even know yet. Artisan has been revealed. We got a little bit of a tease kind of with this Wonder Woman coming out that has the rooted hair. So it'll be interesting to see when people get I think the big tell will be when the Joker comes out and people start comparing Inart Joker to Hot Toys Joker. That will be the real thing, is whether or not Hot Toys is actually
and the
competing on the level. Yeah. And the Batman, once people get more of these comparison figures and start talking about it more, I think we'll have a better idea of what we're looking at here. But I just think, overall Inart is great for collecting. And I think it also sparked this whole okay, we're gonna do Artisan line, we're gonna make it limited, and like I said, I've been collecting maybe almost a year now, and I've never seen so much talk and so much hype in the community since I've been collecting, until that Artisan line happened, and until they started announcing these limited figures, and the community basically just started getting all crazy, and everybody was talking about it, and people are still talking about it. So I think it's ultimately good for the hobby, and that's all I'll say about that one.
Yeah.
DLO, what would you say to somebody like a Denobi, or someone who says, do we need, Inart now that we have the Artisan line? What would you say about competition, I guess, where someone might say competition, it's Hot Toys. They make 150 figures a year, and Inart's still working on their second one. There is no competition. What do you say to somebody that says something like that? Maybe not Denobi, but we know Denobi's kind of had his thoughts
opinion
on
that stuff there. Absolutely,
right.
It's well documented. I get it. I get where you're going with that, Graham. I mean, to be honest with you, if we were talking about this question, maybe 6 months ago, I think Brick and Sneaker's answers are perfect, right? But the question is not, what they've done, it's about what they're doing, what everybody's doing lately, right? And the question is, do we need Inart now? Not then. Yes, we needed them then. But now Hot Toys is now making changes. They're going to continue to make these changes because they see that there is a market and a demand for what Inart produced. So when it comes to that there now, the reason why this is a very interesting conversation is because, we had the raffle go the other week, and we had Artisan Joker, right, which is a clear competitor to what we had with the Inart Joker, right? That everybody was raving about, and it's a phenomenal figure. Don't get me wrong, but what makes this conversation interesting now is that how many people are now selling those Inart Jokers now that the Hot Toys one was there, and this was supposed to be the world beater. This company is supposed to be the one to watch out for now, because now Hot Toys has real competition. But the second the competition put out a product and we all had a chance to have it, we praised it. No one gave it up. No one was interested in selling it for less than, double what it's worth or whatever it was going for on the secondary market. But now you can find this figure for, original price now.
Mm-hmm.
What it was when you could pre-order it. Some cases maybe a slightly better deal, but it's been holding pretty strong. So the interesting thing about this here is like, does Inart still have a chance against Hot Toys? Because the second Hot Toys responded with something that was, a good product, and I still think there's a better value with what the Inart product was. I think for the price, for the accessories, for the the die-cast is, whether you like it or not, the system of how it all worked there, I think Inart did a really bang up job, and people still flocked to Hot Toys the second Hot Toys came out with their own version. So, it's a question that you got to ask yourself here is like, they did their part to kind of get Hot Toys off the move, but are people ready to support Inart after Hot Toys is now producing this Artisan line? I mean, that's the question. And I don't know. I don't have the answer to it. But I think that's a question that's worth asking.
I think so, because Hot Toys isn't doing Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. I mean, you're looking at Inart doing stuff totally different, which is the stuff that I'm intrigued by. I'm not really intrigued by getting a Superman that I know that Hot Toys is probably going to do just as good or better, or another Wonder Woman or another Batman or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to lean toward Hot Toys. But as I said in the previous live streams, I think when you look at other things that they're doing and pushing Hot Toys, and they're going to continue to push Hot Toys. I mean, we've seen Hot Toys kind of win the battle with the Joker. I'm sure that's but they pushed them to do that, and they're going to keep doing that. We're probably going to get another Man of Steel. So it's going to be pretty much do or die. I mean, they're not going to die, but they're going to have to continue to keep up. And if people say that Inart is not competition, even today, I think they're wrong. I mean, this is competition. I think Hot Toys doing this stuff that they've done shows that they know that Inart's competition, and they have to keep up and do even better and continue at the same time to put out 60+ figures a year. So,
can I be devil's advocate for you, Brick, for 1 second?
Sure.
So you immediately went to, like, I think Hot Toys will do something just as good or if not better. Like, what makes you automatically say that? As a collector, like, you've been collecting Hot Toys, what makes you automatically just go to, this kind of speaks to DLO's point of DLO's kind of like, Hot Toys is there. There's like, it almost feels like to me sometimes people have been collecting Hot Toys for so long. It's almost like some people have rationalized. I'm not talking about you, but this is kind of what made me think of.
You look at the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to come out with it first? I have a feeling it's not going to be Hot Toys.
I like the look of the Inart Batman better, though. You know what I mean? I think the Batman for Inart looks good.
I'm saying, though. So whoever comes out, if they both come out and Inart looks better, you really think Hot Toys wants to lose that? They want to wait and see Inart, what Inart's doing with this. That's why they're both taking so long with this figure. And by saying that, I think whoever puts it out second, no matter what, it's going to be better, because they're going to fix what was wrong with the other person's, the other companies.
I don't know, because Inart's quality is different.
Fixing it. I mean, they're both already...
like, these things are already like in prototypes. Like, these things are getting close to releasing. Like, I don't know how much you can change, but what I was saying is, to DLO's point, DLO kind of mentioned, like, people will flock to Hot Toys regardless, because that is what they know. I feel like it's hard for some collectors who have been collecting Hot Toys for a while to, I think, acknowledge that another brand is on that level. I feel like that's a natural thing that people do. Like, oh, I know Hot Toys, it's a quality product, and people will defend the company, even if they've never seen a figure, they've never had an Inart figure in hand, they don't really know the quality of it. I think some of that is at play too, as far as, like, no matter what, Hot Toys is such an established big company that people are going to migrate towards them, no matter what Inart is putting out, no matter what they're doing. Hot Toys is at that level. So Inart doesn't really have a factor for a lot of those people, and that's a lot of people in collecting. Some people are not even going to touch Inart just because they're not. That's just how it's going to be. So that's why I say, like, for you, you made the comment like, well, Hot Toys is probably going to do something. It's like Hot Toys has gotten people to believe like, oh, they're going to do something as good or if not better, because like that's kind of they're the big, the big dog in the,
well, it pushes
in the collecting world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's interesting about we're just kind of noticing, because the Hot Toys Joker came out. It's a really nice figure, no doubt about it there. But the first thing that I said to myself was like, man, but you know what? The Inart put a lot more effort into this here. A nicer base, nicer accessories here. I mean, it's a very
they're
bare
tailoring.
Bones.
Yeah,
it's very bare bones if you really break it down to what it actually is that you're getting there. But people flock to it though, guys. They flock to it. I'll let you speak in a second, Brick. But they flock to it there because it was limited, right? And that's exactly what people have been asking for Hot Toys for many, many years. And people had already an option to pick up the Inart for a while now, and possibly even pick it up on the secondary market. But there wasn't a strong enough drive to go out there and get that again. It had the exact opposite effect. You would think the people who've been swearing up and down about Inart for months, almost years now, that it would be a full-fledged, like, I've pledged my allegiance to you thing. But no, listen, you don't have to agree that Hot Toys is what Hot Toys is and what Inart is on this conversation, guys. But you got to acknowledge the fact that there are people out there now selling those Inart figures for a lot less than what they have, and they're probably taking that money and trying to get the Hot Toys one. Now, I'm not saying they're right or wrong. It's everybody's choice at the end of the day. But you got to wonder, and you got to ask yourself here, are people just more comfortable buying a Hot Toy because it's familiar than taking the dive on a new company that you don't know that much?
And you don't even have the updated Hot Toys rooted Joker in hand, and you're selling this like rooted Inart Joker basically on a good fit, like on a faith that they're going to have a better figure. And also I will say the Artisan line doesn't even, like for Anakin, they're adding this updated head sculpt. It's a new head sculpt. They're rooting it. But the outfit, they're not doing this like really fine-tuned tailoring. They're not doing leather. They're not really... Inart is going like all out on the details for their tailoring, their clothing, all their accessories. Like look at all the hands that come with the Joker. Like all this stuff. Look at the comparison of accessories for the Hot Toys Joker. Like they're retooling it, but I guarantee you they're probably reusing some stuff from the other Dark Knight Joker that they did potentially as far as like clothing goes and stuff like that. So I think like it's a different level, but... DLO, I think you nailed it as far as like people, and Graham, you agreed too, is like people, like that's what they know, and it's a safe thing to like go towards what you know. It's crazy to me that people would just sell their Inart Joker just knowing that.
Let me just add a fact here, because Brady's been in the chat for a while now, and he made a comment when Denobi was asking about what the shipping situation is going to be when he made that point. Brady made it very clear that it's not as bad as it was with Joker, because not as many people ordered the Gandalf as much as the Joker. So you got to ask yourself here, if Inart is everything they say it is, and again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like I said, everybody's entitled to their own title and opinion there. I mean, I see some comments in there, and I'm kind of chuckling because it's an opinion, guys. You're allowed to have one, so am I. But that being said, if it's everything that everybody is, the Inart people who absolutely swear by it say it is, then why did people automatically start selling some Jokers for lower prices before? And why aren't people supporting the Gandalf as much as this? And keep in mind, guys, again, I pre-ordered my Gandalf. I have Inart figures. So I'm totally talking from a neutral standpoint here of having Hot Toys and Inart. So I'm not talking out of my you-know-what. I'm talking from experience of what I have so far. So
yeah, it's a lot more comfortable to make a Hot Toys purchase than it is a new company. Well, I guess they're Queen Studios, so they're not necessarily new, but this new branch of a company. It's a lot harder to sell something that's brand new, fresh, when you could just get a Hot Toys, a company is very well established. You can get it in the US, you can get it on Sideshow. If you have a problem with the figure, you have excellent customer service. It's going to back you up. That's a safe play, and until that changes where people get confidence in Inart and they really like stand by their product when they get it in hand and like, oh, I'm going to buy another one. They got like Inart's got to get established more in the 1/6 game before we before we even have this conversation, because Hot Toys is on another level just from a sales perspective when it comes to this, because Inart's dropped now 2 figures. You know what I mean? So
really quickly too, my thoughts here too is, I think a lot of people, like you said, very comfortable with Hot Toys. They have that trust it's easier to get because, you know, we obviously, like Breda said, we have Sideshow, so we have that retailer over here. Very easy to get.
Yeah.
We know we can get it. It's easier to get. The price is usually cheaper than what Inart has put out so far. But I will say, I'll admit it. It doesn't mean I want these figures more. I've all the figures that Inart has done, that Hot Toys has done, I think Inart's look better aesthetically. I don't know if they function better necessarily, but the Joker's close. But I don't think that rooted hair on the Hot Toys looks very good. I wanted sculpted.
It's inaccurate.
I didn't think it was that great.
Inart's more accurate for sure.
The sculpted Batman does not. I'll say that again. The hair on that
Rick will die
sculpted
on this hill.
the Batman is terrible. Why am I the only one that thinks this? Hot Toys is way better than Inart with a sculpted.
For that figure, you
Batman.
mean?
Sure.
For that figure, yeah.
Right.
That just
That
the
one.
hair. The hair bothers me on the Inart. I'm sorry.
But that rooted hair on the Inart looks incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Oh,
Inart
100%,
Batman rooted
yeah.
looks just so.
But like
Oh yeah, it looks
Pennywise.
amazing.
Pennywise, I think, you know, they went all out. But I mean, Hot Toys did a great job with that base. I love that base. But Inart, again, they're going after what Hot Toys did. So fair point, right? But you know, we look at the Superman that they just teased for that. The angry face Superman looks sick, and I get it. You know, they're going after Hot Toys already released these figures, and that Superman is a couple years old. I get it, but I just think their quality looks great, but at the same time, maybe they are going after a different market. I don't know, because we're all in the 1/6 game, so I'm not sure what some people mean when they say, you know, it's different, totally different people that they're going for. We're all collecting 1/6, so what are they going for? But I trust Hot Toys, so at the same time, I might be more okay, you know, getting a Hot Toys figure than the Inart, because A, I don't want to spend $100, $150 more, and B, I still think Hot Toys puts out really good work. So this isn't like shitting on either company. It's just saying, like, Hot Toys has been around. They're trusted. They're more well known. Inart is still fumbling some things when it comes to getting their figures out or saying things and then, you know, 3-day window, but it's not, and stuff like that. So I think there's just some issues with Inart.
Trust.
And in Inart's defense, though, like, it's still new. I mean, it's been a couple years now, but it's still new in premise. I mean, we're now talking about the second release since Inart's been announced, like many moons ago, right? So,
and look at how many figures Hot Toys is pumping out.
But that's the thing, though. Hot Toys has been in the game for over 20 years now.
So that's what I mean. Like, it's a bit like it's a difficult conversation to have in that aspect of Hot Toys has put out hundreds of figures, thousands at this point, right? We've got to be in the Hot Toys got to be in the thousands.
We're in the high hundreds there. I don't think we hit it.
You don't think you don't think Hot Toys made 1,000 total figures?
Maybe
everything they've made,
all the lines, MS.
So high hundreds, and like the Inart's released too. You know, it's just a crazy, like, it's crazy, and I guess it shows you the quality of Inart when we're even having this comparison when they've only released 2 figures that we're putting them at this level of conversation with Hot Toys. I think that says something.
They put out a hell of a product. It's definitely it's definitely up there, no doubt. I mean, I think this is probably the strongest competition Hot Toys has had since the Enter Bay days back in the day. You know, so you know, it's, you know, obviously people are gonna pick their teams. No one has to. You don't have to be team Hot Toys or team Inart. You can be team both. You can be team really good figure. That's the team I'm on. But I mean,
it's like Sony and Microsoft. Figure, like you can have both.
I mean, that's what I am. I
like more
own this shit. Like,
but Brick, it's also like Sony and Microsoft where people hate each other over it too, because
like,
console wars, figure wars, baby.
But at the same time, you can have your favorite, but it doesn't mean you can't have both.
Right.
So I have a question for you guys real quick. Is it smart for Hot Toys to continue to put out, to kind of chase the Inart product? So when they come out with a Joker or a Batman or a Superman, is it smart for Hot Toys to kind of like, hey, we have one coming again too? Or should Hot Toys just stay steady?
They were going to do that. They were going to do that Joker a long time ago anyway.
I know, but then people are talking about, like, you know, if they do a new, I'm just saying, if they do a new,
I think it depends on how they do it. But like they're gonna overlap in some figures, and I think but like I mean, as far as they did this Joker one, they made it. What did they do? They drew all the interest to them, right back to them about a Joker.
They took all the
they
mojo,
pulled all the hype right out of it.
So you guys think they had the Artisan Joker prepped and ready to go before Inart announced theirs?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
But I will. But I think like
worked on.
I think another thing though too is like the people who have the Inart Joker in hand know the quality of that figure, and there's been a lot of people who have also stuck by the Inart Jokers that have defended it, saying like this is better
Sure.
than the Hot Toys one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Graham
there's definitely
himself.
people on both sides there. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, the
Which is
Joker
good.
one compared to Artisan Joker or even the sculpted one, I agree with Graham. I think the hair is definitely not accurate on that one. It's more accurate on the Inart one there. So, like I said, there's good things and there's bad things about both companies. I don't think anybody's ever going to nail it and just be perfect. There's always going to be something to critique there, and I think that's healthy because it helps grow the products and it grows the company to the point where like, okay, we can get better, right? I think that's all it's about. It's always about improving. So, I mean, to kind of wrap this up here as far as this concern here, I mean, I guess the question is now that we've had like a good healthy discussion about this here, do we still need Inart? Do you think do we need them now that they've already kind of helped Hot Toys see the way?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I
like-
want Game of Thrones.
I still think
I really want Game of Thrones. I'm not gonna lie.
I still think Hot Toys can do better. I think they've been pushed to do some of this wool hair, but they're still recycling a lot of these older figures, like just kind of piecing them together and saying we'll do the rooted hair in wool, but they're not really giving you a whole lot new. Like I really do think, not that Hot Toys doesn't, but I really do think Inart treats it like an art. Like they're really trying
Yeah,
to
for sure.
Premium, high quality.
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Not
You're
that Hot
talking
Toys isn't at all.
die
but
cast
they're,
accessories, magnetic
they're
hands.
really taking their time for
Like-
each individual thing they're
Yeah.
including.
But if
Yeah.
if everybody's selling their Inart Joker now, well, not everybody, but you know, a lot of people selling their Inart Jokers now, is this even a conversation we're going to have in 5 to 10 years? Is Inart even going to be relevant in 5
Yes.
to 10 years, or are they
Yes.
going to end up dying?
Because in 5 years, they're not really going to have
They're
that
gonna have
many
6
figures out if
figures.
they're at this pace. No,
They
I
obviously
think
have to
Inart
pick
will
a
be.
pace.
Also, I think people forget that Inart is backed by Queen Studios. Let's not forget that.
Mhm.
Like, Queen is no joke, and Queen is well established. So Inart's
Yeah.
going to be around. They're not just going to
Well,
fade out. And I
they
think that
slowed down
allows them.
statues too, though. So
Yeah,
that might
but I've
be
kind of been
their
saying this
main
since the
focus.
beginning too. Is I feel like Queen has allowed Inart to really do the production at their own pace and really figure it out how they want to because they have that flexibility as a company. Inart isn't just some standalone thing that just is. It's not a started up product. They're backed
Yeah.
by Queen.
No, for sure.
So so like Queen, I would think is probably giving them a little leeway as far as like they probably don't have as much pressure. Like you need to start pumping out 20, 30 figures a year. You're backed by
I'm
Queen.
just saying,
like,
but if everybody, you know, Hot Toys first before they even get the figure, they're selling their Joker. Like if that keeps happening, are people going to continue to buy the Inart products other than stuff that you can't get from Hot Toys? Is like, you know, like that's
or
interesting.
the bigger question, like, does this, like, now that Hot Toys has kind of responded with their own version of Joker, does that give collectors pause to question and wait to see when an Inart figure is announced, if they're going to wait to see if a Hot Toys version is going to be announced too? That's the bigger one,
Yeah.
because I
And I
don't
think
think
that's
most
fine.
persons can collect both.
it's nice to have options. It's nice to see what one you want and to be able to pick. I think that's great too, in and of itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, the good news is the way somebody out there collects might be different than the way I collect, or vice
Yep.
versa. And again, there's no wrong way. Collect what you like. Everybody else.
I think
will
it's
do the
nice to have
same.
options.
But it's
Yeah.
nice to have options. I do think Inart is putting out some really quality stuff. Could they, get better at some things? I think they will. I think, again, this is their second release, so I think they're kind of growing and figuring out what they're doing, and hopefully it just keeps getting better. But kind of moving on to the next thing here, kind of because we talked about like Artisan and like limited figure releases, and Hot Toys is kind of doing that more. So does exclusivity carry more weight than the actual figure that you're buying? Do you want that, do you want that figure because it's exclusive, or do you want that figure just because you actually like the figure? Like, does that exclusivity carry more weight? Like, I gotta have it, 1,500 units, I gotta have that because not many other people will. Like we talked about the Joker, they made it limited because maybe when it would sit, or what would be another one? Maybe even the Wonder Woman, would that sit? Being that it's like a recycled figure other than the wool hair, but because it's limited,
Sure.
everybody wants it. So I want to get your guys' take on this. I want to start with Sneakerr on this one. Does it matter to you as much about exclusivity, or would you think you would get that figure either way?
I would get the figure either way because I'm only really getting figures that I'm interested in if they're exclusive. I'm not going like this. Wonder Woman was really exclusive. This Iron Man, Disney 100 was really exclusive. I wasn't interested in those. I wouldn't just pick them up simply for the fact that they're exclusive. I kind of look at it as exclusivity as kind of like a bonus. You know, I think like for this Artisan Anakin, one that like for me, you know, I've talked about in the past, like no matter what, that was a figure that I was going to try to get. And the fact that it's limited and exclusive for me, like, yes, that means something to me. But I would say I'd have to have an attachment to the character. I would never just like, oh, this is limited, I'm going to go buy it and have it in my collection. And if I don't care about it, to me personally, I'd rather have somebody else in the hobby have that figure who really cares about it. You know, that's like one problem we're seeing right now. There's people who are just, everyone's trying to flip this Disney 100 Iron Man for $600+
Right.
Because like there's probably a lot of people that got it who, I mean, a limited amount of people, but there's a lot of people selling it for a lot of money. And I would argue those people probably aren't that interested in. If I was interested in Iron Man and I had that, I would 100% want to keep it, knowing that it's limited. So I think it matters in summary as long as I'm interested in the character.
Very good.
Well said.
Rick?
Yeah, I think to me it's more on the character, and I agree with Sneaker here. But I think that to the community and those who like to invest in all of that, I think it, you know, not to speak for everybody, but I think in a sense they see that exclusivity kind of like, hey, I need this now if I'm ever going to get it. And for me, if it's like, man, for example, the Artisan Anakin, you know, that's something I wanted and I tried really hard to get, knowing that it's you know, hard, you know, it's limited. So it's I would say character for sure, but to the community, I think when it's exclusive and it's limited, it's like we need it now, and then you either end up selling it or you sell your other ones. And I think I think it should be numbered, but that's a whole nother topic. So.
What about you, DLO?
Pitchforks. The pitchforks come out with
Do you
that
care
last one.
more about the exclusivity than the actual figure?
It's honestly, they're tied together as such a cop out as the answer that may sound like that there, because Hot Toys is not a cheap hobby. It should not be something that is accessible to all, as I know it has cruel as that may sound, because I mean I know everybody would like something like this here, but I think the point of why we start with this in the first place is because it's high end, it's incredibly detailed, it's very unique, and more importantly, it comes with a price tag that tells you that it's important, that there's value to it there, right? So I mean, when you start doing the whole, and again, this is a whole another, we can go to a whole another episode with this conversation here, but I mean, when you start doing the reissues and the 2.0s and all that stuff, that it degrades the value of the brand, and then that leaves collectors to look for something that's unique within the hobby that's already in place, right? Now we all have these figures here, but now hold on, there's a version of Wonder Woman that has this. It's for 2014, whatever units it was there. Graham, you already said it. It is essentially a reissue with better hair, right? But everybody was ready to pick it up. Even better, a terrible looking Batman DX19 repaint in a really questionable color scheme. I would never buy that ever, but it was exclusive, and so someone did. You know, so is exclusivity carry more weight than the actual figure? It clearly seems like the answer may be yes to that, just because of how we've been so engaged, and how interested we've been in these last few Artisan announcements and the Wonder Woman 100 W100 there. So yeah, it feels like exclusivity is a big factor, and I think Hot Toys is recognizing that they're not producing as many. We're seeing far more things going to waitlist. Is that real or not? That's a question to be asked for sure. But you got to admit, the effect is definitely there, because a lot of people were waiting for deals, daily deals from Sideshow, secondary market. But the newer figures, you know, even hitting secondary market, people are not dropping their pants on those. They're very much trying to get close, if not all of what they made on it there, or sometimes more. So I think exclusivity or limitations to it there, I should say, I think it's super healthy for the hobby to have that there, because it continues to keep people excited. It continues people to collect. And more importantly, it gets people to keep selling their figures and buying other figures because they know they can fund the hobby with the hobby. And that's always been a big appeal for a lot of people in this here. So I think it's a huge advantage when the hobby is exclusive, because it makes everybody's collections more valuable and allows us to continue to collect for many years to come.
Cool. Yeah, great topic. Great talk from DLO right there. You guys can you see me and hear me okay? Because I got my little Wi-Fi indicator. Okay. No, I agree. Like
a little
blurry. We're good.
Yeah, for a
You're
second.
good.
You're good.
You're good.
Okay.
He's back.
I always try to look inward, because I'm like, if exclusivity meant more than the actual figure, I think I would have pre-ordered that Batman, but I didn't. Had no notion to get it, right? But I think it carries a lot of weight. I don't think it carries more, but I think it carries a lot of weight. And I think, like DLO said, it goes hand in hand a little bit. But like Wonder Woman, didn't necessarily need one, but I went for her because she's rooted and different. Joker, didn't really care for the rooted. Didn't think it looked that great, so I'm not going for it type of thing. Anakin, I thought, what the hell, I'll go for it. So in that aspect, it almost like that one weighed out more than the actual Anakin figure. So I think it's a case-by-case basis a little bit, but for the most part, I agree. You got to like the figure before you're even going to care about getting something that's so exclusive. So great topic, great talk. Really quickly, I want to welcome the newest member of the wall, Mike Literist. Just became a member. Thank you so much for being a part of the watch, and welcome. Excited to have you as a member of the channel, and again, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Was on EvilSneakerr's channel with Mike the last Friday, and it was a lot of fun. So really good guy. Thank you so much. A really great staple in the community as well. So always
Sure.
having him here and getting his input. So any other thoughts you guys have on this? I mean, I think you guys all kind of nailed it pretty well here.
Wait, did you go, dude? Did you go?
Oh yeah, I went. I was before you.
My bad.
I'm glad I made an impact.
I think exclusivity as a whole, exclusivity as a whole within the community outweighs what a figure is ultimately.
I agree.
Because it drives it basically drives the hobby ultimately. Yeah. Like DLO said, like people fund their collections that way. It always piques interest within the hobby once one thing is limited or exclusive. It's fact. That's never going to change. Anything limited is they want to get somebody interested again, make something exclusive or limited. That carries a lot of weight. Yeah. And usually, kind of made the point, it doesn't really matter in generally speaking, it doesn't really matter. Like that blue Batman, people are going to buy it, but like I don't need a blue Batman.
Maybe not Graham, but somebody else.
Batman. But it's like it's exclusive, so it's going to get eaten up 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I think because that is an ugly figure. I'm sorry for
I don't like it either. I don't like it either. But if somebody likes it, great. I just don't.
It's like the one suit from the video game that nobody wanted to use. You know,
it's a skin you're never gonna.
That was the pre-order bonus. I'm never using that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree though with what you're saying, Sneaker. When I entered the collection, or the hobby, I should say, and I know DLO can remember this too. When I first started, it was you either pre-ordered or you didn't get it type of thing, and didn't matter if the figure was used or not. That thing rose in value as soon as it came out because of the exclusivity, and I think when we're talking about that as a whole, not necessarily like 1,500 or 3,000 even, but just exclusivity means a lot to me because I knew I could get my money back out of it if I had to, or I knew, you could use your collection to fund your collection a little bit more than you can do that nowadays. Nowadays, I mean, you're selling figures at half the value that they were retail, and it's just it's cutthroat out there. So I would rather have exclusivity mean more, not necessarily more than the actual figure, but more than it means now in the hobby. And I think they're starting to try to correct some of that and get back to limited numbers or limited batches and kind of go that route so that there is a little bit more of the exclusivity and things aren't sitting on the shelves and whatnot. So I don't know how you guys feel about that as well. Just DLO, do you miss, how it used to be where, you kind of had to pre-order? Or do you like sitting on it and looking for a deal?
I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, right? Because because
we all are.
It has been. Listen, there's been some moments where I've taken advantage of what's going on. I will admit that. I'm not sitting here sitting on my heels, shaking my hand like, "How dare you?" Back in my day, I'm not doing that. I'm rolling with the Joneses here until further notice, and that's kind of where I am right now. I'm just kind of like, I'm following the trends and I'm playing along with it here. But eventually, I'm waiting for a course correction because it's what I want more than anything else is I want the hobby to be healthy. Whether that means I get that figure or not, because if the hobby is healthy, I can still collect, right? Because I'm not sitting here on tons of figures that everyone's going to ask me to drop my pants on, even though it's worth a lot of money and you can't find it sold out, whatever. But right now we're going through it. Right now we're going through a lot of new announcements. We have a lot of things that are sitting at Sideshow because there's so much to buy. There's only so much to go around to pay for it at the same time. And there were some figures that have been overproduced that are still there. So, it's not going to change a lot right now. Over time, eventually will. And then I think once we get there, like, I'm going to be happy again that we're like, okay, all right, slap my hand. I didn't order this figure. It's really sold out. It's really gone this time. I got to go on the secondary. I got to go find it, and I got to pay whatever the price is there. I may not like it, but that's going to teach me the lesson to now is the time to become a pre-order collector again and do what I need to do to get those figures. Because if I don't, then I'm going to miss out, and I'm going to really miss out. And then it's going to hurt me worse because I got to pay more. Right. I know it sounds funny to ask for higher prices, but I mean, at the same time, if I have to pay higher prices for a figure that I missed out on, that tells me that the hobby is healing, it's getting better, and more importantly, I can start using the hobby to fund the hobby again, which is the goal for everybody, that doesn't have a blank check and doesn't have any financial responsibilities, So it's just one of those things where, like, it's gonna have to be this way for a little while, but I want to eventually have to pre-order because I have not pre-ordered for a very long time.
Yeah, I know
And I haven't missed yet, folks. Everything that everybody wants that's been sold out apparently here, it's sitting in the collection, right? It's right over here, guys. So still
quick flex. It's right over here.
Boo bam.
Right in all these cases over here.
This whole thing. But
it's right.
Right over there. I was sick, so I've been working out, so my guns I'm gonna probably wear a sweater next show.
A little saggy. That's okay.
Yeah.
I want to give a big shout out to good old Spotchka for being the newest member of the watch. He's going to join the crew and he's going to watch over the wall.
Ooh.
Watchers of
Let's
the
go,
wall
bro.
here.
You have to be like a
thank you so
murderer
much, sir.
to join,
or just
Murderer?
your family.
What?
Your family doesn't like you.
the watch.
You're there.
You gotta.
Oh, the actual watch. Okay.
Yeah.
Actual watch.
Okay.
Guys, please don't do that.
Don't do that.
You can join the watch without
Don't
doing that.
harm anybody.
Yeah.
Guys,
That's not a prerequisite.
let's give Mike Litteris and good old Spotchka a little too sweet for joining
Baby,
the
boom.
Watch Club. Thank you for
Let's
being
go.
members of the channel. I appreciate the support from you guys. It means a lot to me. So thank you so much. Here we go. We're doing it. We're doing it here. You got to drink Spotchka to join. Yep. All right, guys. I think I got some other stuff here on the back burner, but I want to save that, I think, for next week because we're hitting the 2-hour mark, and I know EvilSneakerr has a early curfew.
Don't put this on me. I got no time limit. Don't put this on me. This is your show.
I'm off tomorrow. Let's go.
I got whatever time you'd like.
I mean, we can keep going. We still got 54 in the show or in the chat.
Shout
Here.
out to you guys.
We can
Thank
keep
you for
going.
sticking around.
Dude,
you guys,
I want to do one more.
I say we hit
I want
one
to do
more
one
topic.
more because we've talked about it. So this is a big one. We talked about this wait lists and whatnot, and DLO has been the biggest believer that these are still tactics. Like I'm still not going to pre-order. I'm still going to wait it out, and with good reason. You've been able to get your figures. I've been on the fence more of like, okay, these aren't coming back after a week or 2 weeks or a month. Maybe this is real. With it in the back of my head that they could still get more down the road, right? But don't want to risk it. I'll start pre-ordering a little bit more. What we've been seeing, a few of us on this panel have joined waitlisted items here, right, for Sideshow. And within 24 hours of joining the waitlist, a bunch of us has gotten them converted. right? And
Yeah.
for me, it's been TVA Loki, Cad Bane, Mando Luke, the standard, and possibly something else that I didn't pick up. I didn't get any of them, but like just kind of to see, you know, what this was all about. And Classic Loki even came back in stock now on Sideshow. So that one was waitlisted, came back. So I want to get your guys.
Was another one.
Cascarees.
Are those canceled pre-orders maybe, and then they got an extra 300?
It's possible, and that's what we're talking about. It's possible.
Yeah.
So that could be part of it, or it could be a tactic where, I mean, it was waitlisted, but they can still get more from Hot Toys, and then they're just kind of testing the waters to see, you know, how much interest there is, and then they'll get more coming in later. Do people need to be freaking out? I guess is what I'm saying. Are these waitlists real? Like, should they be freaking out? Because, like we've said too, just because it's not on Sideshow doesn't mean it's not sitting at other places. So, what are your thoughts, guys? Just jump in. I mean, let's just have a conversation about it. Are these Sideshow waitlists real, or are they just tactics that it'll be in stock eventually and we'll be able to get it?
I think it's real quick. I think it's a good way too when they get off waitlisted to get those people that wanted it to go grab it real quick. Oh, it's back on the market. Let's go grab it. So it brings in, you know, multiple more buyers. But I think it's a tactic. I mean, I think they know how many they have. I think they maybe 65%, maybe a little bit more, and they put it on wait lists, and then they kind of see how the market's going for that figure. And I mean, who knows? Maybe they can send a certain amount back, or, you know, keep them in the warehouse for when, you know, they put it back on the market. But I think as of now, it's a tactic.
Well, and that's the thing too, Brick, is like the fact that I sign up and 24 hours later it's converted. Like that makes me a little suspicious.
And it's much easier too if you do the non-deluxe. Like within 24 hours, you're in. So
quick shout out to 16 Fix. Thanks for joining the Wolfpack Wednesday show. Hope you're good, man. Sneaker, I know you're not a believer in these wait lists. What's your thought?
I'm not a believer. Wait lists are interesting. This is like an interesting time, and
we don't even know really what they are, right?
Yeah. So I think there's probably some multiple factors that are in play here. I think, to Brick's point of, I think these figures are coming out, and right when they're releasing, you're getting people who aren't buying them. They're eating their NRD, and they're just like, they can't buy it right now. There's always going to be that crowd of people who can't buy it, so they have to cancel their order or whatnot when it's available. So I think that's part of it. I think another part of it is Sideshow is just being very, very careful managing their inventory. Like, all of this stuff seems readily available in Hong Kong, but Sideshow is running out before a lot of other retailers. And I think that that's purposeful for them, because they're sitting on a backlog of figures that have come out in the past couple of years that are probably taking up that they have to give away for free when you spend money on something else. You know what I mean? So that, like, imagine having just all these figures that they're just, you know, hoarding in their warehouse basically. So that's probably part of it too. But I do think, like, there's probably some tactics involved. You know, I was like, you know, like, I got this Black Panther conversion that it gave me like 3 days to buy this I'm sitting on this Black Panther conversion, and I've just been checking it because I'm curious. And the pre-order is still available. So I can go on till tomorrow at whatever midday and pre-order this Black Panther. And usually, like, so what has happened to me in the past is I jumped on the wait list for Cad Bane just to see, I just wanted to see what would happen. Jumped on for Cad Bane. It converted, and that one, like, within an hour went out of stock. Like, somebody bought them up. Mm-hmm. So, but this Black Panther I've been sitting on for 2 days, and I can still pre-order it. So it's interesting because different things are happening with different figures on the wait list. But the other thing was, like, throwing a whole curveball for all of this is, like, this Bespin Luke Deluxe, I've been talking about this with you guys, has been sitting like waitlist on Sideshow for a really long time. You can still go on other websites and get that. Like, I talk about Underground Figures. It's on there right now for 5% off. You can still get, you know, the Deluxe Bestman Luke on Underground Figures from their website, 5% off Sideshow's price. And it's been in stock for a while now, sitting. But on Sideshow, it's been a while. Same for Ahsoka. Ahsoka's waitlisted on Sideshow. You can get Mandalorian Ahsoka on a discount. Graham, we brought up, like, KX Enforcer droid.
That was the other one that
this thing has been KX Enforcer's one that's been sitting and on a lot of other places, but it went waitlist. And for me, like, I wanted that figure and it went waitlist on Sideshow, so I was like, oh shoot, well, I better pre-order it somewhere else. So they kind of got me to pre-order it. And I definitely could have waited and, you know, saved a little bit of money, but Yeah. I just want to address this comment. S-Beam said like 3 days. That's rare. Usually it's 1. Yeah. For some reason, when I got this conversion on Black Panther, I don't know why this happened. I got this like 2 days ago, and they said you have until August 31st to pre-order, which I thought this was really weird too. In that I got like basically 3 days to like decide if I want to purchase this, and I can still buy it. So I don't really know what's going on. Ultimately, I'm not too worried about what it is, like defining it as something, because there's so many ways right now that you can get figures regardless of whether or not they're in stock at Sideshow. I personally don't order a lot from Sideshow anyways, but when Sideshow usually goes waitlist, I'll keep an eye on a few other sites that I commonly use and see what the trend is there. If those all go out, then I'm usually like, okay, this one might actually be something that like it's going out everywhere. Like the Bark Speeders were one that Sideshow went out relatively quickly, and then they started going out everywhere. Like there's certain figures I feel like that's happening to more than others, and others are sitting around. So it's just like, it's so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell with the wait lists. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it right now.
And DLO, typically when figures, again, back in the day, when they went wait list, that's your cue. Like, these are gone. These prices are going up now, and you're gonna have a hard time getting them. That's also not the case. I'm finding these on Hawk Wars for like TVA Loki. He just put him on sale. He's going for $235, way under what retail is, and he's waitlist.
Sold out figure.
AX Enforcer, way under retail. My comic book store still has a bunch of these in stock.
Yeah.
So So what are your thoughts on like these waitlisted items? It's just weird too, because is it just a Sideshow thing because they're gone there, but they're still elsewhere, and will they get more?
You see, that's the thing. I feel like that's why I haven't been freaking out about these waitlists or anything like that there, right? Because everything that Sneaker just finished saying it's 100% accurate. I go look for a figure that is quote unquote sold out now or a waitlist now at Sideshow, and absolutely right. I can find it at retails. I can find it at different websites, etc. Sometimes at a discount. So, I think this is more of a perception as reality kind of situation than actually being the reality of the situation. And the thing is about it too is just like when they started happening, it wasn't like a obscure, like weird small figure that like, okay, I mean, yeah, I can see that one not being pre-ordered that much. It came out with the big names first. Like you had things like C-3PO, instantly like almost gone, automatic R2-D2, for example, there last year when we were talking about the 20th anniversary for Clone Wars or Attack of the Clones, I beg your pardon. And it just like, I was like, that seems odd. I mean, we've been waiting for C-3PO. You would think they would make a shit ton of those there. Wow, how did this sell out that quickly? I mean, it's been waitlisted for months now, guys. Months. And I think it's waitlist full as well, too. And to your point earlier, Graham, when you're talking about how you jumped on a waitlist, I told you guys last week that I jumped on my very first waitlist. And with less than 24 hours, I got that very C-3PO that is waitlist full. And it's still available on other sites. So for me, it screams tactic, but it also, I feel like it's their way. And I understand why they're doing it. I get it now because like you said earlier, I mean, they're giving away Captain Marvels for free, guys. Like, like they're going out of style. And it's because they have so much in there. So, anything they take in as far as orders are concerned, they need to make sure they can push it out. Just because who knows how much their warehouse is stacked with figures right now from previous batches that are still sitting there discounted, still can't sell. So right now, is it real? No, not even close. Not even close, because you can still find them pretty much everywhere else besides Sideshow. So yeah, I mean, I think once we get past these later ones here, I feel like these newer orders, these newer ones that we're getting are starting to feel a little bit more real. Like once we get to those,
yeah, right.
It's gonna be a real, like, no, it's gone kind of thing. It's gonna eventually get there.
Right.
But this is the new blue screen of death, right, guys? If you guys have ever seen that before, oh man, it's on blue screen. It's gonna be gone, guys. Got to get it now, or it's too late. It's still there, right? That was the blue screen, right? So that doesn't work anymore. You don't see anybody talk about blue screens anymore. When's the last time you see somebody post a blue screen?
Long time ago.
Long time, right? Because we called on to their scheme on that one there. So guess what? The new one is we just put it on waitlist and let you convert on waitlist to pick it up.
So do you think it's a scheme or a tactic, or do you think maybe the waitlist is actually just evolving into something else? Maybe it's a real thing, like this is how many figures they have in stock, and now you're on the waitlist. However, maybe now, you just have a better chance of converting the waitlist because they can say, you know, they don't want to be stuck with all of these figures in the you know, in their warehouse or whatever. So they'll sell all those, but then they'll be like, okay, we got it. The waitlist is full. We sold out pretty quick. Why don't we get another batch in? And then if you're on the waitlist, you get that converted. Do you think it's more of like the waitlist is changing where back in the day it was like a long shot in hell that you would even get selected to be on the waitlist? It was just gone. Maybe now it's not like a tactic, but at the same time it's changed where you just have a better chance of getting it because instead of getting 5,000 units, they're going for 2,500, and then we'll see on the next 2,000 or something. Do you guys think that might be more of the what Sideshow's kind of doing just to kind of limit, you know, what's all in the warehouse, or do you think
I honestly can just say to your point, I don't think so, because here's the law of this here. Like when something really truly goes on waitlist for Sideshow for us here in the States, we immediately plunder all the secondary websites that we have. Right. Where they would have them in stock, and then those would completely be sold out at that point there, and then that's when you have a true waitlist here. If Sideshow is still processing waitlist conversions, and you're still able to find these on all the secondary Sideshow affiliates, right? Then no, it's not an evolution of it there. It's a perception is a reality thing here, because most collectors don't go to all the websites that we go to find other potential deals or sales or whatever. Sideshow is the big dog in this conversation. So if Sideshow shows they're waitlisted there, that person who doesn't know that there's other sites they can go to, or the person who swears by Sideshow, because they join their customer service and they only want to work with them, that's the customer that's affected. So it's a perception thing, because if you did a little bit more research, or you look around eBay, Big Bad Toy Store, all the major players there, if they're still there, then it can't possibly be a true waitlist. It's just a matter of it's just for that site.
Yeah.
Very well said. Either of you other boys got anything to add to this? Does it change how you're collecting at all? I mean, Sneaker, you said you're not really shopping at Sideshow, but Brick, does it change how you're collecting at all?
No, it doesn't. I mean, honestly, it's a good way for me to make payments and choose when I pay for the figure and not have to blow my money when it releases at a random time. You never know when it's going to release. So I have control when I pre-order, I feel.
So, but if you see something that says almost gone and you haven't pre-ordered yet, would you be more likely to pre-order quickly?
Absolutely. But that's just me. I'm kind of with Graham on this one, where it's just in the back of my head. It's like, but what if it truly is almost gone? What if it is one of these bark speeders or something?
Yeah, I feel like you want to make sure you really want the figure.
Right.
I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, if it's something you really want and it says almost gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sorry, really quick.
No,
I think the Peacemakers and the Mantises of the world, those I'm more quickly to pre-order, because I don't think they will last as long, because they're side characters. I don't think they'll be a big batch. Whereas like a Batman, I'm more fine kind of waiting on, because I know there's going to be plenty of those out there, or like a Darth Vader or something like that. But like when it gets to these side characters that I really want, that I don't know how much they're going to make, I think that's when I get a little spooked, and then I'll pre-order.
Yeah, I was tempted to get the Batman when that was put to almost gone. So I don't know if it's officially gone now.
It's still almost gone, yeah.
I had it in my cart, and I took it out and put it back in my cart and took it out.
Then you got those emails from Sideshow. You better get it.
You left it in your cart.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. I think one other interesting thing too is a lot of these sites, like if you look at a lot of these secondary sites, or like comic book shops that, you know, you go on their websites that are nationally known, they're getting a lot of their distribution from Sideshow. So like Sideshow might be waitlisted, but a lot of these shops are procuring their stock from them, and they have all that available. So I think when they all go, like one figure I think about is Cad Bane. Like the Cad Bane Deluxe, like it's interesting, the non-deluxe is sitting around. You can find the non-deluxe places, but Cad Bane Deluxe is one of those that when it went, I feel like it went everywhere. Everywhere I've looked, it pretty much went. So you have to pay like a little bit of an upcharge on Cad Bane Deluxe. But I feel like that might be maybe, I haven't really like tracked that, because I don't necessarily know how you would, but I feel like if Sideshow's going out and then everybody else who's getting their distribution from them is going out, that's more alarming to me than
Good
if
call.
it's just Sideshow going out, and then these other shops that are getting all their stock from Sideshow, if they still have it, then it's probably. I think that then in that case, I think if you're seeing it all these other shops, you're more likely at that point probably to have it convert waitlist on Sideshow. You know what I mean? That's when I think I think that is probably where that comes into play a little bit more. If it's still sitting, because there's some that I feel like all the ones we've been talking about that are converting, you can probably find somewhere else right now. You know what I mean? But some of these ones, every once in a while, there's one, like I brought Cad Bane up as an example. I can't really think of like another one off the top of my head, but every once in a while, it seems there's been some that really are hyped up, and once in a while, one will slip through the cracks and it goes everywhere. But that's been pretty rare for that to happen right now.
Clone Trooper Pilot comes to mind. Like that's a real one.
Clone Trooper Pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've been seeing that one, like you can almost get that one when you factor in shipping and tax for Sideshow. Like people are selling it for around that price right now. So even if it's going out, like the value is holding at pretty much like the ones that are going out. People aren't really getting a lot more for them unless it's a really, really hyped figure. So even when it's going out right now, the market is still at a point where, you can get things for a relatively decent price.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing though, like before, like when a figure would go, waitlist, it would be quote unquote the grail, right? The newest grail. And you'd have to pay, a decent amount over retail to do it. But now in this day where it's a real one, say like a Purge Trooper, the Clone Trooper Pilot, for example, like you just said, Sneaker, the new grail is only worth what you paid for it, which as much as that is, it doesn't sound sexy to say out loud, but that's still a win in today's market because you're not taking a loss.
Yeah,
it's true. Well, I mean, end of the day, nobody really knows what's going on with Hot Toys or Sideshow. You got to make your own judgment, whether that being getting scared like Brick or I sometimes and just pre-ordering, or being vigilant like DLO and just saying, fuck it, I'm waiting it out.
Prove me
down
wrong
with this ship. Yep. Or Sneaker, who says, I don't even shop there, so I can give a shit. But
I shop there every once in a while. If it's in stock and I get it, like, if I can use a discount code or something, if it's in stock. But usually that's pretty comparable to these other places.
For sure.
So it's really hard for me to buy a figure at Sideshow. Because you can always get them at a different price.
I would just tell people to be cautious. Make your own decisions, but know what else is out there. Shop around. Look at your local comic book stores. Look at other retailers out there, and just make your decision after that.
But it is nice to know that Sideshow takes care of you.
Yeah.
And if something's wrong with the figure, they literally send it to you. Pretty much no questions asked, other than giving them a picture.
That's how they get you there, because their services for anything else you feel about Sideshow, everybody universally feels that Sideshow has great customer service, and that in itself, that gives people confidence to want to buy through them. So when they see something waitlisted on Sideshow, their preferred company that they want to buy from, that's a real waitlist for those people, because they're not shopping at these other sites where you may save a little bit on shipping or maybe on tax or something like that in that area. So, again, perception is reality.
And you're getting 5% back in rewards, and a lot of people like to stack that up. So you're paying a little bit extra for peace of mind, but you're getting 5% back, and you're going to get good customer service. One thing I have with Sideshow too is they ship from California, so coming all the way to Wisconsin, like sometimes you have to pay to get double box. It's like $4 or $5 more, which isn't a huge deal. But like coming from that far away, sometimes I don't love the fact that it has to go that far.
It takes a week for it to get to me here.
Yeah, I don't love that. I like ordering. I like ordering from places that are like closer to me and on the East Coast, because it doesn't take very long, and it usually doesn't have to go through all these crazy climates to get here.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Weird about that, but
great point. Great conversation had by all. We're running here on 2.5 hours. Still got 61 in the chat. I mean, what are we thinking here?
We go all night.
Keep riding the wave. I mean,
well, can I open up these shoes real quick? I'm kind of like, I don't want to ruin what's going right now, but
you're enhancing.
We're down to 48, 45.
Sorry, put them back.
Fuck the shoes. No. But real quick, in case you guys didn't know, good old Spotchka does some really awesome artwork.
Channel member.
Yeah, he is a channel member now. Good job. He has his own channel as well. He had a live stream going on right before this show. But he does a lot of artwork. I saw what he did with a Vans, a white Vans shoe with Ahsoka, and I was on that live stream. I forget what live stream was that. You EvilSneakerr? I think it was your collector tour.
Yeah,
He
it might have
showed
been.
off his Ahsoka. I was like, oh damn, this looks really nice. And he was like, make me a hoodie with my logo on it, and I will make you a shoe of whatever you want on it. So my wife makes shirts and hoodies and stuff, so I made her do that, and she did it no questions asked. And this is the first time I am looking at these. Oh gosh. So yeah, I'm very excited. So I did. Ooh. Hold on.
I hate 'em.
I love it. Woo-hoo-hoo. Live unboxing. Let's go.
Look at that.
these
Did a live
are
unboxing
bands.
tonight. Those look
Look
sick.
at
What?
Damn,
Yeah.
bro.
Dude,
Spotchka does that by hand?
Yeah.
by hand. Look at that.
Wow.
wearing those every
look at
day.
that.
And then the other
that's
shoe.
dope, man.
Oh wow,
Oh, sick.
Dude.
that's cool.
My gosh. Look at
That's
that.
awesome.
Put
Now
those
the
right in the
question
case.
is,
hand.
are you going to wear them or are you going to display them?
Dude, no, I'm going to display them. I don't know where, but there's no way I can wear these. Wearing to work.
That's sick.
No, you can't
wear
wear
those.
those.
Look at that.
You can't wear those.
Bosco,
at
my
that.
man. Good stuff.
Yeah,
dude.
you guys need to go follow him on Instagram. Maybe he'll hook you up with a deal too. So look at that.
Shout out.
Sick.
That's
This is
just
good old
like right up
Spotchka
your
out
alley
there.
too.
Very awesome, man. Yeah, it was
Good
between this and
Spotchka, man.
amazing. It was between this and amazing Spider-Man with Garfield. I let him choose whatever he felt more comfortable doing, and I'm glad I got across the Spider-Verse. You can take me off full screen. That's cool.
Let's leave him up there. Leave him
Yeah,
up there.
yeah.
Give him the spotlight.
No,
nice.
that's
Thank you, good sir.
that's some really
shout.
good work. So
I'll
yeah,
make
go
more.
follow
That's
channel
cool.
member good old Spotchka
That's cool.
and subscribe to his channel as well. That's amazing work and a gift that I wish I had. So and a talent. So very
Yeah.
good.
I'm next.
Yeah, you getting your
You're gonna
face
get-
on yours?
No, I want him to do like an evolution of Obi-Wan. So like young to old on 2 shoes.
Gotcha.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd
yeah.
be cool.
Nice.
That'd be really
Danny,
cool.
hit me up, bro. Danny and I talk all the time, but yeah.
Anakin
So-
would be cool, going from like light side, dark side to Vader. Cool.
Yeah, man.
That'd be sick.
And then on the side it says I hate you.
I hate you.
You guys ever see the marshmallow?
I hate sand.
Where it's like in the
Of
fire,
course. Gets on everything.
and they give like the s'more, the marshmallow, like a mouth, and they do like the "I hate you" thing. Oh, that's so funny.
Oh my gosh, it's too good. I can't get over how good those sneakers came out.
Yeah,
Spotchka,
dude,
I'm
yeah,
ready
they're
to hit you up,
freaking
dude. I've got
sick.
some ideas. Come
And
on.
they
my
look
ideas
better in person too. Man, just awesome.
That looks.
Ooh,
Gotta put those
I
in
don't
the
know
case.
which I like more. They both look so clean.
I know.
Hang them on the wall.
Well,
I'd be
somehow.
afraid to wear them, man. They
that
look so
right, that right there, just with the spot.
Yeah.
Whatever
Look
his
at
name
that.
is, I forgot his name. Is it the spot?
We got the Thor in the house. It says greetings all. Am I tardy tonight? No, you're just on time. We're gonna
We just started. We
we're
got
gonna
5
keep
more hours
going.
to go.
we're gonna keep going. We're gonna see as long as you guys are here, we're gonna keep going.
Just hit your DVR, bro.
And
You're good.
Actually,
Restart.
this next one is gonna be really spicy. If you guys thought the Inart talk was spicy,
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
This
baby. I know what
one
topic it
is,
is.
About to get canceled.
Yo.
What's happening next?
this one might rile some
Yo.
feathers.
Oh boy.
And
Spicy.
what is the best IP to collect?
Oh,
and
shit.
why?
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
we've talked about this in our private chat multiple times, and I
Too
think
many
it's
times.
gotten a little carried away and
Talked
people have
about
gotten heated and hurt and possibly shed some tears. I'm not sure, but
I'm out. I can't do this.
now
I'm out.
obviously,
I'm out of here.
now, obviously everybody again. There's really like you collect what you love, and that's that. But let's break it down. Let's see if there's a best IP to collect. Maybe it's what you love. Maybe it's just like a non-bias. So like for me, when I start, I'm gonna say for sure like DC is not the one. So for me, it's Star Wars to collect as a whole, with all the characters. You know, it's a rabbit hole of characters that you can collect for years and still not get everything. Whereas DC is very limited. So like I always tell people, like my favorite character to collect is Batman, but my favorite IP is Star Wars because Star Wars is just amazing overall. Whereas DC is kind of lackluster.
Hit or miss.
Yeah, it's hit or miss, but I really gravitate
That's just too
towards
strong for my liking.
Batman. So like for me, it's Star Wars, and I'm just gonna get the ball rolling here. And who wants to jump in? Brick, jump in.
Sure. I think I agree. I think Star Wars is the best IP. No,
What?
no.
That's fucking
We
sick.
have it.
No, I
Wow,
never.
I'm
I
shocked
have
right
never-
now.
I have never
Hold on.
once.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
This is all recorded.
I have never once said that Star Wars is not the best. What I fight
I'm
about is
clipping
Marvel
this.
versus DC. Now, when it comes to Marvel versus DC, Marvel, no,
As old as
I will
time.
bring it on live. Marvel is my favorite. I like Marvel more than Star Wars, but I think Star Wars is the better IP. I mean, without a doubt, I can't fight that.
But what's the best to collect though? Not
Yeah.
better IP. What's the best to collect to you?
I mean, to me right now, it's probably Marvel, just because I'm still trying to get all the Avengers. I mean, I love Marvel. I grew up with Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man to me is your Anakin, is Graham's Batman, is DLO Cyborg.
Arby.
I mean,
My
Sorry.
Anakin, you know,
Um,
Obi-Wan, bro. The goat.
You're Obi-Wan, yeah,
Put some
but
respect on his name.
But when I when I argue or make the argument, it's more MCU versus DCEU. Which one is more washed out? Which one is more, I think Marvel still has some liquid to kind of some gas to keep going here, whereas I don't think DC really quite does, except for maybe Superman and Batman. Okay, Wonder Woman figure, sure, but as of now, until they come out with the new movies and Joker, I'll say that too. But until they start coming out with these new movies, I mean, they haven't even announced Blue Beetle yet. I mean, with a Marvel figure, they would have. I mean, right, exactly. So that's where I think if I were to rank them, for me personally, it would be Marvel, Star Wars, DC. Community wise, it's obviously Star Wars. I mean, everyone in the freaking community is like,
Wasn't always
dying
like
to
that.
get-
Brick,
Huh?
there was a time where you'd be
Yeah,
insulted in
right.
comments if you were a Star Wars fan and not a Marvel fan. So
Right.
it has turned. Like I remember
Yeah.
when I was a young lad, you talked about anything outside of Marvel, like you'd be like chewed out and pretty
Yeah.
much kicked out at that point. There, it was that big of a, because I mean we had the sequel trilogy going on at that time, and Marvel was like really
The
had
hottest
a lot
it's
of
been.
momentum there. Yeah, like it's peak running at that stage there.
Yeah.
So like, you asked a question about like, hey, does anybody collect Star Wars? Like, why would you collect Star Wars, man? It's all about Marvel. Everybody knows that, dumbass. That was comments like that. It was
Yeah.
comments like that, and he was like, all right, thank you, fuck me, I guess. All right, never mind.
Let's go fuck.
Everybody
Well,
knows that dumbass.
Go fuck myself. Okay,
Spotchka,
that.
Spotchka in the comments. I don't know.
Bitch.
I don't know if I agree with that. I'm gonna call Spotchka.
Ooh,
out in
Spotchka bringing a
here.
heater.
I don't agree with that at all. I mean, other than Batman, Joker, and Superman, but Marvel MCU is still alive. DC
Graham,
died.
give Brick the
Just,
main
I'm
screen,
just saying,
please.
DC
I want
is
this.
dead
I
right
want-
now, and the
Give him the full?
the,
Give him the
movie.
full. Go ahead, Rick. You got the floor, sir.
And- Thank you. I appreciate this. I needed this. So DC is literally rebooting, whereas Marvel is still going. Of course, it's not as strong. They got some good stuff here and there, but it's not like it was. Can you please take me off full screen? And I don't. Of course, when
Make your case, sir.
I'm going to explain this a little bit. When a Batman comes
Under the
out,
light.
especially if it's like a Michael Keaton or Christian Bale, it's like a godsend. Like everybody wants that, right?
Fuck yeah.
But look what's happening with Spider-Man with a Tobey Maguire. Everybody's going to want that. Everybody's wanting this Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. It's different. It's more nostalgic. And of course you have the Joker, which is like there's a reason why Inart started off with the Joker. It's like the Joker, right? But if you compare the whole line, the whole IP to DC does not stand a chance. Even when DC was big, look what Marvel was doing. DLO just said it. Marvel was king during that time. DC didn't even stand. DCEU did not stand a chance against the Avengers. No way. And I think there's a lot more Marvel fans out there. When it comes to movies, the Avengers, that whole setup changed film. It was like the way they did that was amazing. Now everybody's trying to do this freaking multiverse thing. So I don't know what's being said in the comments, but yeah, you know what, Spotchka, you owe me another pair.
So yes, that some would consider that a win, Spotchka. I don't know. Yes.
But no, I love you, Spotchka. But no, I got nothing against DC. I still want a Wonder Woman, but if I had to rank them,
would you want a Batman, Rick?
I have a Batman 89 pre-ordered. I do want a Batman, but I'm not as big of a fan of the Batman as some people are. I thought it was okay. I thought it was like a 7 out of 10.
Sounds good. It's a good rating.
Yeah, and compared to No Way Home, or I guess that doesn't really count because that's like pulling at your heartstrings. It's not really the story. It's about nostalgia there, but it's, I don't know. It's probably the first good DC movie that's not even part of the DCEU. And how long? Since what?
And this man doesn't have anything against DC, folks. Like, so we clear. Like,
no, I love DC. I really do. I have
Marvel's
no
such a bigger, like, they
right
just have so much more. I feel like property wise, you know what I mean? Like, it got so much bigger than DCEU.
Yeah.
And that's nothing will ever top Infinity War Saga. That will never.
That's when Marvel Hot Toys was at its peak, and now Star Wars is back at its peak. I don't know if DC
Marvel's nobody.
DLO,
likes
you could
new
say
movies.
DC had its peak a couple months ago before the Flash came out, and they're coming out with all these figures, and we were like, "Oh shit, yeah!" Like we're getting Michael Keaton, we're getting Flash,
good. We're gonna get Zod. We're gonna get the whole armory, the blue and gray suits coming home.
Like that was our peak.
And the Flash, Supergirl, all those are still up there.
Wait, aren't you getting that figure though, Brick?
I'm getting Supergirl, not Flash.
I know, but you're getting Supergirl though.
Another lady figure.
I've got nothing against DC at all. I just if I'm comparing the two, I mean, as of right now, I think a Marvel movie is going to do better in the box office, and I think that goes a long way talking about figures as well. I think people that like movies, like film, are nerds, and we're the ones that collect, and I think that says a lot. I think also they probably, when Sideshow gets these figures, I think they know the audience or the buyers, and I think they might order more Spider-Man or Iron Man than they do a Supergirl or something. So I think and I think these Spider-Men will get waitlisted. It will take longer for them to get waitlisted, because they have so many of them because they know they'll sell them. So, enough of them to get by. But
hey, before we get too deep into our picks here, I just kind of want to address the chat real quick here because I know it's super easy to say Star Wars guys for everything, and I know you kind of know what our favorites are a little bit here. So let's spice up the question just a little bit more. Like, obviously, pick your primary guys, but I want you to also pick like a second one. If you can do 2 IPs, because I'm curious to know more because I know everybody's going to say most of the majority is going to say Star Wars, but I'm curious. Would you do Star Wars in Marvel or would you do Star Wars in DC? Like, put your comment in the chat there. I'd like to know what you guys would do as a second option. Because I know everybody's going to say Star Wars.
Because we know Star Wars is king.
We do. Listen,
don't get it twisted,
know.
Anybody. We all know Star Wars is king.
I'm with Graham.
100%.
I'm a DC dude too. Everything that Graham says, I'm going to echo. I got my boys back on that there. I'm right with them. But I know my role. Star Wars is it.
One more. Can I say one more thing? The only thing that I said kind of to Sneaker and to, it was, what looks better on my shelf? 10 Spider-Man or 10 Luke Skywalkers?
10 Luke Skywalkers.
Yeah.
Well, to Star Wars fans, yeah. But to me, like I said, my favorite IP is Marvel.
But
Spider-Man,
you
can make it look like it. You can make it like an Into the Spider-Verse thing. You can make it like this. It makes sense to me. Whereas Luke, personally, I only need a couple. Star Wars in general, with how many characters and how you can keep going, definitely by far the best IP. But when it comes to Spider-Man versus Luke for me, or Spider-Man versus Batman for me, it's Spider-Man.
I think you could argue Marvel. You say like Star Wars if you have like the plethora of figures to pick from, but Marvel has a lot of stuff you can pick from too. Like Marvel's no slouch when it comes to the amount of figures. Like, DC has less overall figures, but Marvel has a boatload to choose from. I think the selection for Star Wars is a lot better than Marvel, in my opinion. And I think the variety in the Star Wars, in the Star Wars universe too, is like there's so many different routes you can go in Star Wars because you have troopers, you have creatures. I know they don't have a ton of creatures, but
Droids.
you have droids, troopers, main characters. You have like Jedi, you have Sith. You just have so many different routes, to pick your display, and they're all very unique in their own right. Yeah, so I would say, Marvel's no slouch. If I had to collect another one, I would say, like, I just haven't seen all the DC movies. Not to say, like, that's not a knock to DC or anything. Honestly, though, like, the one the one DC figure I want, though, is that Nightmare Batman, since I saw it at your house.
So badass.
That figure's so
That's
cool.
one of the best figures. That's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
like, that figure's
I don't
badass.
have
So, like, there's figures, and, like, I'm sure I would like those movies. Like, I like all the Marvel stuff that's, for the most part, other than some of the newer stuff that, like has come out. I haven't, I've lost interest because it hasn't been as good. But Infinity Saga stuff, like, yeah, like there's figures from there that I would love to pick up. So I'd probably go more in favor of, like, if I had to pick two, I'd probably go the Marvel route, because there's like, I'd probably want to pick up the Avengers and get, like, I've talked about this in the past, like like Iron Man is like a Hot Toy staple. It seems like everybody needs to get it. You need to get an Iron Man if you collect Hot Toys. I feel like that's what everybody says.
It's
right.
When
So like I held the bricks in person. I was like, damn, this figure is heavy as hell. But yeah, so like I think it's like, So yeah, so like there's more, like there's probably more Marvel stuff, but also if I couldn't, it's really tough, because the other thing that is kind of a tie with that is like Batman stuff. Like I'm pretty close as far as, like, if I could choose Marvel or just Batman, I might just go the Batman route too, because I really like Batman stuff is really cool to me. So that's a tough one, like a second IP, but for now I'll just stick with mostly Star Wars.
Yeah, and that's good, because I didn't stick to anything when I started. I just bought whatever I liked, and I didn't have a plan at all when I was doing it. So
so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, like it's tough though. It's tough though, because there's other stuff I want to get, but for me personally, the way that I like to collect is I would rather have more. There's always something Star Wars that I would rather have than something from a different IP that just doesn't seem like as meaningful to me. Like Star Wars means so much from that perspective that I'd rather pull something from Star Wars than go get something from something else at this time. Like I have a list of most wanted Black Panther. But somebody won't give it to me. So there's that's my opinion on that. But it's so hard to pick something else and spend that amount of money when I could be like, whoa, there's this Star Wars figure that I want to get that I haven't picked up yet. That I'd want to, So
Sneaker, let me ask you this here, man.
Yeah.
So what is a figure that is out of your IP that you collect, that if you saw it at your local comic shop and you found it a steal of a deal out there, like what figure that Hot Toys has made, what would you grab off that shelf? Carnage?
Carnage, 100%. When I saw that, when I saw Brick's Carnage, that's probably the one I would grab. There. And Venom.
So, well, let's stick with Carnage for now here. All right. So
I'm not buying a DLO, so don't
don't worry. It's fine. But this is a scenario here, just a hypothetical, solely hypothetical. So if you saw that Carnage and you saw a Star Wars figure next to that Carnage, I don't know what figure to be. You can think of anyone. Let's say it's another trooper. I know you love your troopers, right? And it's a trooper you don't own. I don't know which one it is, but let's say it's the trooper you don't own here. You just finished saying if you would get one figure that was not in your circle of figures you're going to get here, you would pick that Carnage. Would you pick the Carnage or would you pick the trooper?
Are we talking? But the thing is Carnage is like over double the price of a trooper. That's the problem.
It's a great deal. Steal of a deal.
Oh, so we're saying like the trooper and Carnage are the same price?
Let's say it's a grill trooper and it's a great deal Carnage.
Or let's say Carnage drops down to $300 like everyone is.
No, it's a grail, and I'm taking a snow trooper, bro. I'm sorry.
No,
I would pick a snow trooper over Carnage probably if it was like a grill level trooper like that.
There. Okay, Larry, I'll give you one here. How about your Rogue One short captain you just got? I know we know about that.
Dude,
one.
That's tough, man. I like that figure.
That figure or Carnage, stupid deal. You'll never see a deal that good. You'll never be a Facebook deal as good as that one.
But can I get the captain later?
Sure, why not? But
I would probably, if it was a steal of a deal, I'd probably get Carnage.
But you'd have to wait like 2 years to get that figure, that trooper.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd do it, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. That's what
Because
I'm
I
getting
need
with
the
this story.
captain. I need it in my Rogue One display.
Or what
You know
about
I
what
mean?
about Black
like,
Panther?
I need to have that in my Rogue One display.
Or what about Black Panther or one of those guards that we were talking about earlier?
Praetorian Guard.
Yeah, or Black Panther.
It's a good one.
I like it.
I don't know, man.
Conversation.
That's
I
what
like
I
seeing
mean. Like
figures
I
split like this
that's
here. This
that's
is
what I
big.
mean by like I would rather get a Star Wars figure. I just always would rather get another Star Wars figure because I know I can fit it into my collection. And I'd always rather have more Star Wars than just get a one-off of something else when I'm spending this kind of money on something. Because then
Here we go.
one
I got a good
figure
one.
I buy that's outside of Star Wars is one less Star Wars figure I can have.
Yeah.
And there's so much Star Wars stuff coming
It's
out
good
that I
logic,
love. Like I love all the Star Wars stuff that's coming out. So I know if I'm going to be selective in what I'm buying, like there's stuff I would love to get. I'd love to get Carnage. I'd love to get Venom. Would love to get Black Panther. I'd love to get a Thanos. But I know that there's Star Wars stuff that's coming that's more important to me that I would rather that I can't get all of it.
all right.
And
It's
to
all
me,
right
the
here.
pick is Star Wars. To me, the pick is Star Wars. Some other people would say, well, it sucks because you're missing out on some other characters that maybe you like. Well, I can tell you, like, a lot of those characters aren't as meaningful to me as a lot of these Star Wars figures that I'm picking up. So that's kind of my
I chose
collecting
a trooper
philosophy
for that
right
reason.
now.
I'm glad you put that there, not to cut you off here, because it's a nameless. I mean, it's not nameless. I mean, it is technically nameless here. We'll call him Bob the Trooper. Okay, we don't know what Bob's name is, if it's really Bob's name, but it's a nameless trooper over a super iconic, extremely popular Marvel Spartanverse villain. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah.
You would still pick the trooper?
Dude, Carnage is so cool, and like I enjoyed the character, but I know that the way that I curate my collection and having Rogue One and knowing that I love all those trooper designs, I want to have all the troopers included in that display.
What about a Carnage? What about a
That's where
Carnage
I'm at
or
right
the-
now. That's where I'm at right now. I have a running list of most wanted non-Star
that
Wars,
Carnage.
but it has to fit.
But
It has
what
to
about
fit.
a Carnage?
I would totally
Carnage versus
Everyone's so focused on Carnage. Leave me alone.
Carnage versus the Nightmare Batman and Superman 2-pack.
I'd probably take the Carnage.
Okay.
I don't really care
Marvel.
too much for the Superman figure. I'd only want the Nightmare Batman, and I'd take Carnage over Nightmare.
But you get
Batman.
2 figures.
No, I would just sell the Batman. I'm sorry, I'd sell the Superman.
Superman.
But yeah, Calvin says I wish I had a restraint when I started. So like that's the thing is like I have to have restraint, and my collection focus right now is Star Wars. It's just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go too deep into other stuff because I know like the pull is strong towards other stuff, and I know like I don't want to go that route because once I go that route, it's you got to be you guys know more than anybody who's collecting this, you have to be selective, and you have to and you have to make sure you don't go down the rabbit hole of everything.
No, stay, right?
Sorry,
Come on.
Sneaker.
Stay, come on, don't go.
Stay.
No, but I 100% agree with Sneaker. That's how I feel with some Marvel stuff. And then once I got a lot of those figures, I was able to branch into Star Wars a little bit. So I'm with you. And now I'm trying to get a few more Star Wars before I get into the Batman role. I love Batman. I mean, I grew up on Batman as well. I love RoboCop, and I don't have a RoboCop, but
it's also
nothing
like we're
against that stuff, but-
talking about Carnage versus a Trooper, but there's a lot of other stuff I don't have right now that I want to get, like Tarkin Vader 2-pack. I would rather there's more Grail like figures to me right now. So the Carnage versus a Trooper isn't even in the cards for me right now. It's a fun hypothetical, but that's not even in the cards because there's higher level figures right now that I'm chasing that I would want over top of a car. I'm not going to spend $400 even if it's $350 on a Carnage when I could put that towards something like a Tarkin Vader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put him on the witness stand.
No,
I'm
it's
just
a good,
asking.
no. But like that's what I'm saying is like
He's
so
never
that's, like,
coming back.
That's just like basically not even happening right now because there's other stuff even above a Trooper level that I would rather get than a
Still pick the
Carnage. You know what I mean? I'll get Carnage one day though.
One day, I hope to see a Carnage, and I feel like
One
you
day.
deserve that.
One day when I get a really, really good deal on a Carnage, I'll get one.
But that's the way that there's two collectors too. One that focuses on one IP and can get mostly everything, and then there's collectors kind of like us three. We're trying to dabble in all three, and we're just getting those main characters or those high points in our childhood or our nostalgia brains or whatnot.
Shit, I got too much of all of them, man. I gotta sell some.
That's
know,
what I'm saying.
right?
I'd rather create this one big display of like we're spending a lot of money on these. Star Wars is the most important to me for me personally, right now, I'd rather focus on that. But that's not to say I'm not going to start getting stuff. I do have a stealth suit cap, you guys, and an Inart Joker, and an Inart Joker.
Wow.
I'm saving
Very
those two
nice.
for last when I open them. Those are the two last ones I'm going to open.
That's what's up, man. That's awesome.
I'll get Carnage one day. He'll probably be the next I will say he'll probably be the next non-Star Wars figure I'll get. Maybe other than John Wick, maybe.
I feel bad now because I feel like I push you too hard, and I feel like once the stream is over and you go to sleep, you're gonna be tossing, turning, thinking about a Carnage.
No,
effing DLO.
I will not.
No, I mean,
He's thinking about that Black
So you
Panther
would-
more.
No,
Not
I've
to
drawn
keep
a hard
going.
line.
Not to keep going with this, but you would go Carnage over
Rick
Iron
will
Man.
knock on Steve's.
I would go
Steve's
Carnage
gonna-
over Iron Man.
Hey.
Yeah, I'd probably get a
Is
Carnage
that-
over Iron
okay.
Man.
So if there was an Iron Man, I'm just playing. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not-
Well, that's kind of tougher. So like that's what I mean. Like I don't even really think about that because those just aren't in the cards for me right now for my collection of what I want to
I
do.
get it. No,
I will at some
respect
point.
that.
You know, I've only been collecting like a little under a year, so like at some point I want to do that. But I'm just like I said, I'm gonna become Carnage. At some point I will, but like you guys have been in the game longer. I know Brick's been in the game not like about as long as me, but
Not
like
the
you
same
guys
as
have been
you,
in the
yeah.
game longer, where like your curation is different over time. Like I kind of just started within the last year, so like I intend on over time, you know, long term, that I'm probably gonna, you know, go out and branch out into some other stuff.
No, for sure. I mean, it's bound to happen. I feel like the longer you stay in the hobby, the more likely that's
Yeah.
going to be.
Because
your
there's stuff
future,
I want.
whether you
Like
it
I
or
said,
not.
there's
'Cause,
stuff I want.
There's just too much stuff that
Yeah.
happens outside of what your focus is that ignore
Yeah.
for so long. You can
Yeah.
only do that for
Yeah. And it's
Ever
got to
so
be really, really, really important to me. Like it's got to be a
Right.
really great figure that I feel like it can't just be cool. That's my struggle with Carnage too. Is like Carnage is the movies are fun. They're like
Yeah.
early 2000 action movies is kind of what I equate them to, and they're fun.
Sure.
Carnage is a cool character, but like, is he really worth that value for like something to be cool looking and like that's fine. And then I'd want Venom, so it's like that's a lot to, you know, a lot to spend. I need to have Brick on life. Yeah, okay. I'm done talking about myself
The
now.
only real
No, that was
collector
good.
here.
That
Thanks for
was-
letting
Fredo, you
me
don't even
have
collect
thanks for letting me
Marvel.
have the floor.
Spotlight, baby. You earned it. You earned it. He's like,
Fredo's he's a fake collector because he doesn't even collect Marvel.
Thank you, Breda. Appreciate that.
Hey, I do have a Marvel figure, one Marvel figure.
Anything else on the topic of IPs, which is best to collect?
I'll just give my quick answer. Star Wars and DC for me. Clearly, those would be my
Same
two.
here.
Gilo was still waiting.
Yeah. I forgot. I didn't go, but I'll just throw that.
We
out.
were
Yeah.
we were putting a
We were putting
sneaker under the light.
through the ringer, my man.
Bring it, baby.
The man didn't
Bring
break a sweat once.
Oh
He's
man.
just like, yeah, no, that's that Carnage. Yeah, it's, but the Trooper. I love that. That's awesome. I
Dude,
wish I
Rogue
had
One
that
Rogue
dedication.
One troopers are hard, some of them are hard to get,
Mhm.
and like it'd be hard for me to let that one go. I love Rogue One troopers.
Yeah, no, they're great. I mean, I love a good Rogue One Trooper as well too. I mean, that short trooper, the captain specifically, is just, it is one of my favorites. You know, and even though they did, you know, a 2.0 ish sort of with the, well, not 2.0s, that's not fair to say, but they did the grunt and the and what was it, the squad leader. It didn't diminish my love for the original.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Rogue One definitely stands out for sure. I definitely agree with that.
What do you guys think? No, we're just talking about Hot Toys. We're not talking about the IPs themselves. But what Hot Toys IP is at a lull right now? Which one's the coldest?
I don't know, Brick, you want to take that one first?
Oh man.
DC clearly.
I mean, yeah, that kind of goes with my answer as before. I would say DC, except for the three main acts when it comes to Batman, Superman, Joker. I mean, Cyborg is still up there. I understand like integrated suit Spidey's still up there too, but you have like 50 different versions of Spider-Man that you can choose from. Or Cyborg, you have one and it's still up there. You know, it's I DC.
I hate you, Rick.
Love
I
you,
don't
buddy.
hate DC, but Cyborg's still up there. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Just saying. Plenty of
Yep.
Spider-Mans, but there's only one server. Why is he not sold out? You tell me. You be the judge.
So
Rick
I
Artemis
think
out.
I think all IPs go through the roller coaster of being hot, being cold.
Yeah.
I think Marvel was really hot when I came in, and now my thoughts are that it's the coldest right now. DC might have the least amount, but I still think Marvel is the least amount of traction right now. So I think part of that is they haven't made anything good in a while. But then I think, I wouldn't say in a while, but lately a lot of their stuff has been average. But then they're also just making so many variants of all these characters that it really is just killing the market for all these other characters. So we were just talking about Black Panther the other night, and this new Black Panther's coming out, and the Civil War was going for like 300 if you were lucky, 350, and then Solo movie was going for 5 at one point, and now you can find both of them. Well, you can find Civil War for under 200. You can find Solo for 2 to 250, 250-ish probably. And I think that's happened with other figures as well. Obviously, when a 2.0 comes out or a 3.0, but I feel like Marvel, it's just happening more and more often. Like Captain Marvel's been in stock for almost 3 years. There's been some, like, you got all the Spider-Man.
Be honest with Captain Marvel though, who the hell liked her to begin with?
The figure or the movie?
The movie.
Actress.
The movie was okay.
Sure, but she's not the only one. She's just the example. She's the longest standing one. So I think DC's actually gotten some hype recently with Batman, Flash, Supergirl, the Batman. I think a lot of that stuff has been hyped. It's just there's not as much there. Whereas I think Marvel right now, because they've kind of plateaued when they hit Endgame, and they took so long for everything to come out. I think it just died down. Whereas Star Wars, I feel like that's going strong right now, and I think it's because of Mandalorian. I think it's because of some of these other TV shows that maybe haven't done the best, but the figures look really good, and they're making these figures and they're selling really, really good right now. So, not to say Marvel's bad or that I don't like them. I just think right now in the market for the hot toys, I think those are the ones sitting the longest, and those are the ones that people are giving away on the secondary market, and it's just not what everybody's like running for. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would probably agree with that assessment too. I mean, again, just coincidence since we're talking about it there. So, Brick, don't take this hard there, but I agree with Graham. And it's just a matter of this, like, I don't know. I mean, obviously, this probably can go into a different conversation.
Let me take this back.
I've got space. But no. I mean,
it's my dog.
I think I think what it is I just feel like everybody just felt like maybe after like 10 years of Marvel and going through like I don't know how many movies we had in that 10-year span, 3 phases at least, right? That just like maybe when like it finally ended at Endgame, people were just ready to take a little break from Marvel. I think even Marvel would say they could have taken a break in hindsight there, just because. I mean, the weird thing about Marvel is just like Endgame wrapped up phase 3 right around COVID, and it pushed back a lot of their projects. They're doing the Disney shows, movies had to go. It was just total. It's a cluster there, and I just feel like they haven't had their mojo since that, and it feels like it's been really hit or miss. Like in my opinion, I think the only 2 movies that I genuinely liked from the new phase 4 is probably Shang-Chi and
great
Spider-Man.
movie.
I think Shang-Chi's underrated. I think that's
Guardians.
I like Guardians, and I just watched it again. It's freaking depressing to watch part 3. I stick to 1 and 2. 3 is just it's too damn sad to watch it over and over again.
So let me ask you the question, DLO. What is?
I can't watch tearjerker. I don't watch movies that cry. What the hell?
But you can say all the same stuff about DC though that you're saying about Marvel. They haven't made a good movie. They
but here's the thing, though. This is your point. I'll argue with you there.
Yeah.
DC hasn't been hot for a while, so you're beating a dead horse there. You guys were the shit, and now you guys suck ass, right? Sure. That's where we're going with this here. So it's not I get it. Yeah, fucking Marvel has been great and stuff. That's cool, but it's just like DC, like leave us alone. We know we suck, but we love it. All right, but and there's something endearing about that in a way there. But I mean. For Marvel, like I said, Marvel just needs. I think this needs to reset this year. Maybe recast a new Iron Man. It feels. Someone made this point. I think it was there's this YouTuber guy. What's his name? He has a show. John Campea. John, you guys ever heard of that name before? John Campea has a John Campea show. Well, he has a show. Robert Burnett. I'm sure everybody in the community knows Robert Burnett. He appears on John Campea's show a lot, and he was having an honest discussion about like how phase 4 is gone, how Marvel's doing. And I think he nailed it. And what he said is just like, they're severely lacking a Captain America, an Iron Man persona. Because who's the leader of the Avengers right now, Brick? You tell me. I don't know.
It's gonna be Spider-Man or Scarlet Witch, but Scarlet Witch might not even come back. So I got you.
But I'm saying, would you really put like Spider-Man over Captain America?
They're pretty much doing
and
a
Iron
female
Man?
Avengers, so I guess it would be more on that level. But I mean, no, I wouldn't. But when Spider-Man gets more mature and they make this Avengers again, and Spider-Man is in his late 20s, and they bring
And that's
Avengers
maybe
back
when it
again,
becomes really hot again. Who knows?
Right.
You know, I just don't
It'll
think
take a while
at
to
this
do that.
moment.
Yeah,
At this moment in time, I think it's the one where I think the hype has died down. You got
oh yeah.
how many Lokis?
Well, I
How
mean,
many
you
Captain
took out Robert
Americas?
Downey Jr. and all these actors. I mean, it's gonna die down.
I think
They
the
were at their
problem
peak.
too is like you keep creating these 2.0s and 3.0s, and you're just you're killing your own market. with
Diluting
these hot toys.
diluting it. Yeah.
I think that's the big problem with it too. How many Star Lords do we have? 3?
So yeah,
Star Lords.
We're going
Three
on
without the
3.
one that's coming out.
Yeah, without that.
Yeah.
Is it 2?
I
No,
thought
we
we
had
had
3.
2, and
We had
we're getting rid of that.
Galaxy's 1, 2, and then we had one for Infinity War.
Oh,
That's what I
Infinity War.
thought.
You're right.
So I mean, and then Loki's. How many Loki's do we have? And
I
then
lost count. Yeah, I see your point.
even Captain Marvel. Brooke even said, "Who the hell cared about her at first?" You got 2 of them.
Yeah.
I think
Wolfman's still
Captain
available.
America. You went back to 2012 when you probably didn't need to, and that thing is selling for cookies. So I think that's part of the problem, and that's not a Marvel thing. That's more of like a Hot Toys thing, where they're just creating this whole thing where
Jazzy hit it here. This is where it really is here. Jazzy hit it on the head right here. When it's going to get hot again. It's not going to be when, freaking Peter Parker freaking gets his first apartment with Gwen Stacy. It's not going to be that movie. It's going to be the movie when the X-Men
new.
come back. That's when it's going to get hot again. Or
Yeah.
maybe the Fantastic Four. Who knows?
Yeah.
When
They
you
need
start
these
bringing
really,
back,
really hot characters.
Yeah, I mean,
Big
I'm
time.
sorry. Like, I don't know how many projects they have cooking right now, but Secret Invasion, I liked it a little bit, and then it really just got shitty towards the end of it there. I mean, WandaVision was pretty good. I think WandaVision is probably my favorite
Yeah, it
of
was
all the
good.
TV shows there. But everything else has been
It's fun.
up and down with it there, and it's just like, but they're not heavy hitters. Those are not your go-to heroes.
Yeah,
Marvel.
that's a good point,
Like these are secondary. I mean, Doctor Strange. I mean, he's good, but I prefer Doctor Strange when he's in ensemble, not when he's in his own movies. In my humble opinion.
I agree.
So
They're in like a
How many
rebuild.
strangers
Marvel's
do
in
you
like a
have now?
rebuild right now.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Maybe
you
this
need
writer
a Captain
strike is
America,
gonna
you
help
need
them.
Iron Man style figures, and the only people that are on the horizon that Marvel can start plugging into eventually is bringing the X-Men in, bringing the Fantastic Four, and bringing those. They've had those rights for like, I don't know, like almost 5-7 years now, and they still haven't made the movies yet. So yeah, I think until those guys, thanks for Jazz for pointing that out there. I think until those come out, like Marvel's is going to be on the back burner for a lot of collectors.
They're in like a rebuild,
For sure.
And I feel like it's hard. One thing about Marvel, I feel like Star Wars has a huge advantage in that they can fall back on the original trilogy at any point in time to gather interest. Marvel can't really fall back on the Infinity War saga right now because they already released all those characters, and that was their peak. So right now they don't really have anything that they can. I don't know if you guys could think of any figures off the top of your head where you're like, oh, I would really, really want that. In Marvel, that's
Carnage.
behind us.
Carnage.
Besides Carnage.
Top of my dome.
Yeah. Okay. But you know what I mean? Like Star Wars, you can always think back, like original trilogy, like Sand Trooper Dewback. It brings hype, and then you have the Sand Trooper that you can order separately, brings hype. Star Wars has 40th anniversary line, so they got this Return of the Jedi stuff coming out. Anytime they want to draw somebody back into Star Wars, they can just hit an original trilogy, and it's gonna pop, and it's gonna drive hype. Marvel, I feel like, doesn't really have anything like that right now that's driving their hype. It's almost like they're rebuilding right now. Essentially, is what's happening.
For real.
Until they hit
DC
this
is
peak.
just always kind of at that. It's not like they're bad, but they're always at that same level where you get a few side characters, but then Batman comes and it spikes up a little bit, and then you just kind of periodically get a Batman, and it keeps the IP
keeps the
kind of
drive
where
going, but
needs
it
to
doesn't
be.
really have
but
these
it's
really
never-
really highs and lows. Yeah.
it's
Right.
never
You guys
like
know
that
what I really
before,
want?
but-
Yeah.
I really want an Artisan Harley Quinn.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do for their, their Artisan Marvel figure.
Not to bring it up, I think Inart would probably do that first before Hot Toys does.
Yeah, I do too.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think like that's where Marvel's at. It's yeah, and with all the reception for like what the movies have been, like I said, I'm not real picky when it comes to movies, and I like most stuff, but like I still haven't finished the new Ant-Man movie because I fell asleep an hour in.
It's bad. Yeah,
that's rough for me. Like if that happens, like that's tough when something like that happens. I watched the first 2 episodes of Secret Invasion, and like honestly, I really wasn't into it. I'll try and finish it, but like it's just not. And then I hear what's happening. Like I heard like kind of towards the later and like who they're revealing as like Skrulls and just some of that stuff, and I'm just like, what are you guys thinking for some of this stuff? Yeah. So it's just like Marvel's just in a lull right now, and that's gonna, take interest away when everything, like when everything was all about the Infinity War saga. You know what I mean? What's up, dude? Everything like, yeah, I'll always say like it's gonna be really hard for them to top Infinity War Endgame level. All those actors are obviously like for the majority, like those characters are done. It's just the iconicness, I guess, of that is going to be really hard for them to get back to a level of that.
It's tough.
When you have Star Wars, who can always fall back on the iconic original trilogy to drive interest, Marvel has already basically capped out, so to speak, on the characters that they can make from that time.
Marvel needs to bring in Cosmic Ghost Rider. They need to bring in Null, get these symbiotes rolling out. The symbiote god, basically. They need to continue with some of that stuff. Bring something new to the table rather than trying to figure out like this Thanos kind of, redo. So I think they should make it a little bit more darker. Have some fun with Cosmic Ghost Rider. If you guys know who that is.
Really quick, I just want to say hello to Brother Cousins Toy Reviews. What's going on, my friend? Thank you for popping into the chat tonight. Appreciate it. Go check out his channel if you guys haven't already, but it looks like everybody is saying hey to him, and he is well known around these parts. So thank you very much for being here, sir. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a wrong thing to collect. And just because something is at a low doesn't mean it's bad to collect either. It could actually be the perfect time to collect because that's when you can find deals.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm finding Marvel is you can get figures for $150. So if I know DLO, I think you collected Star Wars when it was at its low.
That's right. Everybody was into Marvel. I got into Star Wars when everybody wasn't, and all these figures that everybody are chasing, I'm not paying. I didn't pay that price. I did not pay those prices for those figures. That's
literally my entire. That's 80% of my collection. Is I think I told you guys I probably wouldn't have half the stuff I do if the market was like it was like back when you got into a Graham, whereas like everything was a lot hotter. It was like super easy to get really great deals on a lot of the stuff that I got, which is why I was able to get a lot of stuff in a short period of time too.
Riley being a smart
Riley, what's up?
We're waiting for you to come back. We're gonna bring it up again now.
Yeah, we're over 3 hours here, which is probably it's the longest Jedi Knights Watch stream we've ever done. So congratulate yourselves, guys, that we made it this far. Typically after 2.5 hours, my ass falls asleep and I need to get out of here.
Got a pressure relief, man.
Yeah.
That aside.
No, I think we had a lot of good conversations tonight. I think the chat definitely got a little heated up at points too and did their part.
Good conversation, though. Great
conversation.
It's important. It's important to have this conversation.
It's healthy.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, everybody has their opinions and their thoughts and their way of collecting. And this is just us as a community talking through it and figuring it out for ourselves. So it was a lot of fun. Really quickly, I want to just I'm going to end the show, but I want to start with you guys on, your fixated figure, or if you got anything going on in your channel, let me know that. So let's start with up in the upper right there with DLO. And any fixated figure that you have at the moment?
Sure do. It's an Avenger Hulk that should have been here today, but whatever. We'll blame it on the postman and not the person sending it. But no, jokes aside, no. Starting to record the new room tour. Excited about that there. So taking it piece by piece. I want to make it a little different from the first one, and I keep getting figures. I gotta stop buying stuff. I keep
Same.
telling myself I'm gonna film. Then I get a new figure. I'm like, well, let me wait for that figure because I really want to put it in this one because I don't plan on doing another collection tour for the rest of the year. I don't want to waste the value of like a good collection tour. I don't want it to go stagnant. So I'm just gonna do this one here, and then maybe I'll do another one in 2024 down the road. But yeah, so. My last figure should be coming in probably tomorrow, so I should be able to wrap up the rest of it. Then I'll put it to post, do some nice funny stuff. Maybe Graham can help me with some graphics, and I'll just put it out there for you guys there to see for yourselves there. And I'll do for I don't know if he's probably in here. If Jimmy back from the Inart conversation is still here, I will spotlight Joker just for you. If you watch the replay, shout out to you. I am going to put that just for you, buddy. You got it with the base. But yeah,
very good. Looking forward to seeing that new tour because it's been a hot minute. So it's time. It is time. Brick, what's going on your channel? Man. What figure are you fixated on as well?
I have 3 figures coming this week, guys. I have Darkseid Anakin, Black Panther, and Ahsoka. So I am super excited for those figures, especially Darkseid Anakin.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great. And I think they're all coming tomorrow and Friday, so it's gonna be pretty intense. The channel, I got so many ideas for live streams. I'm just not in the mindset to kind of do that, to lead that just yet. I know I could, but it's just I want to make sure I do it right, perfect it right before I lead my own channel. Whether it's like building with with other Lego channels or whatnot, and kind of going a little bit more in that community again, or doing something with the 1/6 community, talking about fun stuff. But other than that, I got a couple videos in mind. Probably push those out by next week, and yeah, that's about it.
Good, man. Good having you on. Always good hanging out with the Wolfpack. Sneaker, our special guest. Did you have fun?
I did. Thanks so much for having me on again, man.
He looks happy.
I appreciate it. No, that was a blast. Yeah, it went by quick, 3 hours, but yeah, a lot of fun conversation. I think I've spoken about it in the past, kind of more in chat, but like kind of what drew me to, your channel and the conversation with you guys is like, I think it's important to have these conversations in the hobby and like gain as much insight as you can, especially right now with how the market is and stuff. So I really like talking about that type of stuff. And I think it's really important to express all your different opinions on that. And I think overall it just helps everybody gain more insight into the hobby. And I think that's really important. Like I've said, when you're collecting at this level, the more you have of that, the better. So yeah, I just wanted to, So thanks again for having me on. As far as my channel goes, Friday, I'm doing the second episode of After Ahsoka, which is an Ahsoka TV series review show. Graham's going to be on there with me, and then Mike Litteris is going to be on again as well for round 2. So tune in for that. That's a fun show. We talked about 2 episodes last week. This time it'll just be the 3rd episode. Some good stuff to talk about. So looking forward to that. That'll be Friday night, 8:30 Central Time. And then I'm going to be doing another episode of the Collector Tour on Monday. Still working on confirming that. But that's a show that I do, interviewing collectors and learning about their insight into the hobby and talking with them kind of about like their collecting journey and stuff. That's been a really fun show. Took this week off, but we'll hopefully be back on Monday doing that. Reveal who the guest is for that shortly. Fixated figure, definitely these 2 bark speeders that I'm about to open up this week. Probably tomorrow. I'm not doing it tonight. But yeah, I got both bark speeders delivered today. They're going right up here in this all Clone Wars Maju case. Very excited to get those ones displayed. So yeah,
that'll be nice.
That's it for
me.
Very
cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I also have 3 figures that I'm fixated on. One is Cad Bane, which arrived yesterday.
Beauty.
So I will be doing a review on that one, hopefully this week. My Sand Trooper video will be coming out Friday, probably. It's all done. I just don't want to put it out yet. I still have Princess Leia from A New Hope that's recorded. Just have to put that together. And then tomorrow, from my buddy DLO, I'm getting the Death Trooper Specialist, which I'm really excited about. And then I also, from my buddy DLO, I'm going to be getting Jyn Erso, which I'm really excited about sometime pretty soon. So kind of dabbling into that Rogue One line. And it's going to be nice to have some DLO in my collection.
You got some deal in you, all right, but
All right.
I just like how I'm watching Sneak. I'm just waiting for Sneaker's reaction. I can see his soul crushing as you're going down the list. Like what we were just talking about, how much we love Rogue One, and you're giving him those.
Oh, I already knew you did that, bro. It's fine.
Oh, you did.
My heart was broken a couple days ago. When I found
Yeah.
out. More for you. I feel sad for you.
By the way, a true collector would know that this is the deluxe and
Yeah,
not
it's got
the
Toto.
standard.
That's got Toto on the box.
But unfortunately, some of the fake
Wah, wah.
collectors out there aren't really sure what they're looking at. So.
Here's some fake.
Graham, I'm excited for you, man. Getting into more Star Wars. Let's go.
No,
dude.
it's great. You know, it's always been my favorite to collect, but I've always tried to keep it like balanced. But I'm kind of at brick cover your ears, but I'm kind of like I'm on that lull with Marvel, and I'm kind of like Marvel's always been the
Come to the
last
dark
one
side,
that I got
baby.
into. I got into
You'll
that as an
regret
adult.
it.
Star Wars and Batman, I've watched since I was
You'll
like
want 'em back.
4 years old.
Mark my words, Graham.
He's
But
threatening.
so I'm definitely
You'll want 'em back.
cooling on like collecting more Marvel,
Uh.
but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we got some hecklers in the chat here just before we go.
late night
call out.
hecklers.
Let's see here. Yeah, so Breda wants to know why some guests can come back and others don't. Everybody's always invited. It's just when people don't show twice, then typically they don't get invited as much back. So not gonna name names, but no, I'm just kidding. Breda, you're always welcome. I know you're on the
Sure.
opposite end of the world, so it's
Video with
definitely a
Breda
little
was
bit
a
more
hell of a
more
lot of
difficult.
fun. when he was on.
I've also been lazy on inviting guests, like reaching out, and I mean I love Sneaker, but I talk to him almost every day too. So it's just like, hey, you want to be on the channel? Yeah, let's do it. So just haven't really been, I guess, making an effort. But yeah, you Riley, Loki, you know, you guys are always welcome. So you know, brother Cousins, if he's in here, always welcome to be on the panel.
It'd be cool to get him.
Even though he gives me shit constantly. But oh well. No, you guys, like, come on. How close do I got to get it here? What is that?
I just read Breda's like comments. I just see him shaking his fist at you every time he does it too. It's hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, we're at 3 hours and 16 minutes. This was a ton
was
of fun.
Blast.
Ton of fun.
Absolute
So,
blast. This is one of my new favorite episodes we've done.
yeah.
That was great.
So really excited to see, you know, what drops later this week, what we can talk about next week. Keep your eyes out for RoboCop. Pretty sure that's going to be coming out any day now. I actually thought maybe last night that it would have dropped, but that's not the case. Thank you for all the channel members. I will get those videos out very soon, you know, kind of doing the shout outs there. But thank you to Mike, Space, Literis, Pause, and good old Spotchka for becoming members tonight. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being active in the chat. Until next time, stay safe out there and see you soon. Peace and goodbye.